All right, what's good? What's good? What's good? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Sorry, I got my video up a little bit late this morning, but what's up? What's up? What's up? Towers, hey, what's going on? Adrian Vince in the building. What's going on, sir? David Williams, what's happening? Say good morning, Fanon, and to the coolest crew on the earth. Let's hit that like button. Yes, man. Yes, sir. Hit that like button. Isaac Green, salute to you, sir. And Tara Sims, sister. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let me wait till some people get in the chat. Like I said, I put this up a little bit late, so I doubt very much people got their notifications, even though you shouldn't need a notification. I'm here every morning. We're doing this every morning. What's going on to my guy, Chillville, Big Noop in the building? What's up? What's up, Fi? They don't know about them noops, man. They don't know about them noops. Funny to me, man. Funny to me. I watch all these videos where cats watch me doing these. Man, I can't. Man, I remember vividly giving people that lecture about hand signals and all of that stuff. And you see kids doing the same thing, but there's something wrong with me. Man, I'm telling you, man, that some things still bug me. My man, ROKK in the building. What's going on? Rock in the building. D Free in the building. What's going on, sir? LaMarcus Robinson always in the building. What's happening, sir? Exactly. Yo. I never really said yo, though. Doesn't flow off, really never flowed off my lips. You know what I mean? Never really flowed off my lips nice. Yo, Noop. Yeah, it used to be fun though, man. That's back in the day, man. If I didn't like hanging out with a bunch of men, like I would hang out with the noobs more. But I tell you, I don't like hanging out with a lot of dudes. Not fun to me. God dog, man. Come on, man. What's going on? Okay, hold on one second. What's God's self in the building? What's going on? Big Block. Black Fawn said, morning. Good morning, family. Blessings to you all. Hit that like button on the way in. Please do. Big Block in the building. Queasy Rob said, I like Tank, but no. Nah, I don't know. I think he is. I'm telling you, man, I'm becoming a boxing expert, bro. I'm becoming a boxing expert. I'm telling you, people really sleep on how good a fighter he is. Really sleep on how good a fighter that kid is. Absolutely, positively sleep on how good a fighter he is. Yeah, man, he is every bit as good as Terence Crawford is. Every bit as good as Terence Crawford is. Depends on what style you like, but I think he's every bit as good. And I think it really shows when he fights people his own size. I've never seen Terence fight guys that much bigger than him. So it's kind of hard for me to say. But as an all-around fighter, I think he's every bit as good as Errol and Terence Crawford. As an all-around fighter, I think there's probably no comparison between those guys in that lightweight division. Because I was really going to say, because like as far as being a complete all-around fighter, because that's something people brought up yesterday. His ability to put you to sleep is part of being a fighter. That kid he has got excellent defense. He's got excellent ring generalship. He's got extremely effective aggression. And he's got extremely good, clean, and effective punching. So, yeah. And he's done it against all kind of different opponents at 3 different weight classes, going up and going back down. I'm telling you, I think that man is very, very underrated. The more I study him, the more I see, first of all, when I look at Terence, man, first of all, Terence Crawford's a beast. Okay, that dude's a beast, man. Like, that dude ain't easy to beat, man. He's because of his mobility. Like, I don't know if he still has the same mobility, and I don't know about the level of opposition that he showed that mobility against, but his mobility. But Terence Crawford is not a good inside fighter, or at least he's not shown it. He's not somebody that is terribly that you'll see him fighting on the inside. And I don't really think his defense is any better. His defense is going southpaw. His defense is going. He's an excellent fighter, though. Like every time I watch, I'm like, man, this Errol Spence fight is gonna be wow. That's gonna be tough to beat that guy. And then I look at Errol Spence and I'm like, Jesus, that dude is just that. Like like man, that guy is really breaking you down. Like really, really, really breaking you down. Gervonta Davis can really break you down. Errol Spence Jr. can really break you down. Where it really is not a matter of a one-punch knockout. He's really breaking you down over the course of the fight. Now, he has the ability to knock you out in one shot. Let slip up, you can get zipped. And that's why I'm saying you got the ability to get Terence. Gervonta's got the ability to put you all the way out. And he will break you down and stop you. And what he showed with the Eastside Cruz is he will outbox you. And I've been looking at the scorecards and judging these rounds. He's outboxing him while he's breaking him down. Now I'm telling you, man, this kid is really good, man. He's really, really good. It's really, really good. Ray Davis said, Fanon, you sound like you have hay fever, or you may be allergic to the bullish in boxing the last days. Well, I'm allergic to these dogs in my house. Give me 1 second, man. I got to get something. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right, we're back. Yeah, I forgot my thing so I could blow my nose. Be upfront about it. Give me 1 second though. All right. Yeah, it's where Calvin Alcas was putting hands on Crawford. He got hit a lot. He's not on Spence level. Well, look, these guys all get hit, man. I gotta go back and look at the fight. But I can't. I have to look at it and I have to have it fresh in my mind. So today I wish it was a longer fight because it would make it easier for me if it was a longer fight. But I'll go back and I'll look at the Egas Calvin Alcas fight with Terence Crawford and see what the deal is with that. But because I definitely remember he got hit a lot. It was a good back and forth fight and all that with Sean Porter. It was a good back and forth fight with Egas Calvin Alcas. But at the end of the day, he wound up getting up out of there, man. Teddy G said, good morning, Fanon in chat. Fanon, just watched your video from yesterday. What is the issue with these Hall of Fame fighters' disrespect towards Errol Spence? They hate on him for nothing. Well, first of all, man, first of all, Ray Leonard is a jerk. Ray Leonard is arrogant and he's a jerk. But Ray Leonard can also fight. I got you. He said I think he said 99%, not 90. Oh, he took a dump on somebody specifically with that. He took a dump on somebody specifically with that. Like, dude, I don't understand why people won't believe Steven Espinoza. Like, you really think you got better sources than Steven Espinoza? You guys kill me with this Spectrum thing. You can't call a level 1 help desk and they can't explain. Well, I called a level 1 help desk and they said it's real. So, but you call the guy that literally does the programming that the channel that the fight would be on. The channel that the fight would be on. The guy who's responsible for giving the date to Spectrum. You're going to take what a level 1 help desk guy says over that. It becomes like a whole bunch of my channel time now is really spent like debunking things that people with common sense should know. Dude, it's ridiculous. Hey, Violator Comics in the building. Thank you for starting the chat off nice and pretty, man. Thank you very much for your support, bro. Much supporting that super chat from my guy, Violator Comics. But we're going to wait a little bit longer, man. Wait for people to come and get in the chat, man, because as you know, I put this up late, so it's going to be a little late. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try to accomplish two things at the same time because you know what it is. That's how life is. Sometimes you got to multitask. So I'm going to multitask just a small bit real here. Wait for y'all to come in. Cosmic Dream, what is that? But yeah, he said most of that's not true. And he sounded like he, honestly, to me, it sounded like he was hedging towards that Keith Thurman fight. But Errol Spence Jr. clearly wants that. And the people want. I'll be fair on that. I think that is a fair thing to say. That most people really do want the Errol Spence Terence Crawford fight. Me personally, I'll take the Keith Thurman fight in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. I will take it in a heartbeat. As long as I get it soon. Okay? Yeah, Spectrum told me. One of 9 million cable companies. I called level 1 help desk for Spectrum. And Spectrum told me, don't listen to the president of the guy that runs the network that it'll be on. Telling you that it's not on this date. Now watch this. If it was on that date, what good would it do for Steven Espinoza to lie to you? Let's use logic. If that date was settled, what good would it do for Steven Espinoza to lie to you? Can somebody tell me how that would be in his interest to say, no, that fight is not on that date? No, that fight is not on that date. Nah, Tara Sims. I'm not calling out anybody. What sense would that make? I'm going to tell you exactly who I'm calling out. I'm calling out my guy, Chris Brooks. I'm calling out Chris Brooks. I'm calling out my dude, Chris Brooks. What's up, Chris Brooks? See, you guys always think I'm talking about somebody with a YouTube channel. I'm not. I'm talking about Chris Brooks in my comment section. Chris Brooks came to my comment section yesterday and said, Spectrum said this. And I said, look, man, I just don't believe it. I don't believe that you can call Spectrum and say, and Spectrum's going to be able to tell you. No, I mean Chris Brooks. No, I mean Chris Brooks. Or Chris. Well, hey, I think it's Chris Brooks. I'm sorry, man. If I mess your name up, Chris, I meant Chris. I'm talking about Chris Brooks. No, I'm not calling out anybody in particular. Not who you think. Because I don't watch that. I know who you're talking about, though. But I don't watch that, bro. I'm trying to tell you, I don't do it. I can't do it. Hold on 1 second. Good morning, Aisha. Good morning. That dude believe in Spectrum, bro. I'm surprised he don't have a logo on the thumbnail. Look, Spectrum. No, I'm not talking about him, bro. I'm telling you, I'm not talking about him. I'm not talking about him. I'm not into that, all of that, dog. Really, that's for everybody else to guess and suspect and all of that stuff. I have more than enough people to come by my comment section on a daily basis. And if you go to my comment section, you know that I respond to my comments. I'm in my comment section. There is definitely a good chance that you will get a response from me if under a video in a section. So, and I read a lot of the comments. I don't read all of them, especially if you start with some nastiness. Then I'm just going to delete the comment, or I'm going to delete you, or I'm going to delete you. Sometimes I'll just delete the comment so that you can comment on some other video because you must be having a hissy fit. Other times, if I really don't like you, I'll just delete you. And then you can come under another name or something like that. I'll go and check how many nasty comments that you left for me. And if you left more than 3 nasty comments for me, I got to throw you out. Another YouTuber said the same thing. He called Spectrum and they told him that it was scheduled for June. I believe it when I see the official announcement. You have to listen to who it is that you called. What are they going to say? It's not true. It's on our official schedule. That's what they're going to say. They're level 1 help desk. They're level 1 help desk. They're sitting in a room in a call center picking up phones all day. That's who you're talking to. That's who you're talking to. You're listening. You could have gotten one of 15 of 300 other people. And they're all sitting around in a call center in cubicles. And you ask a question. Hey, is this on the date? Well, you know what they're going to do? They're going to go check the schedule. Oh, yes, it's on our schedule for June. Are you sure that's really going to happen? Of course it's going to happen. How do you know that? Because it's on our schedule. We wouldn't put it on our schedule if it wasn't true. You call level 1 help desk. That's level 1 help desk. Come on, man. Use your brains. Use your brains. That's level 1 help desk. That means nothing. Nothing. How many times do you call a help desk and you call it and you come right back? You come right back and they give you a different answer. Depending on how lazy the person is that you're talking to. They may, if you call a bank and you say, hey, I'm trying to figure out where this is. Oh, well, I can't figure it out. I'm sorry. You know, it is what it is. And then you call back and you get another operator, and they spend an hour and a half trying to figure out your problem, and they figure out your problem. Because the first guy was just being lazy, or the guy was new and he didn't ever experience me before, and he didn't know how to find the answer. Because they're $20 an hour help desk specialists. And you're going to take the word of a $20, and you're going to take a word of a $20 an hour help desk specialist over the president of the network that's scheduling it, that would love to tell you the fight was on June 17th. I tell you, that's news that Steven Espinoza would love to tell you. He would love to tell you it's on June 17th. Big announcement. It's June 17th. And if it was true, but he didn't want to confirm it, he would just say, I can't comment on that. This man is affirmatively telling you it's not true. He's affirmatively saying it's not true about a fight on his network. Exactly. You call Sports Goatee TV. You call 5 times, get 5 different answers. Yes. But with that one, you're always going to get that. Thank you for calling. Yeah, exactly, Tara Sims. Thank you for calling level 1. Come on, man. I used to work for a company that designed call centers, did the technology for call centers. It's called level 1 support. They're going to answer all the basic questions. You're not going to get anywhere near an executive out of that call center. Please, that call center is there so you can't talk to those guys. Shakur Stevenson thoughts. Hold on one second. Keys to the Game boxing channel says, salute for 9 and my usual suspects. Hold on one second. I got to do this just. Sorry about that. Salute for 9 and my usual suspects. It's my birthday, so I won't be on the entire live, but enjoy live today, but enjoy, family. Salute. Happy birthday to you, Keys again. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you, brother. Happy birthday to you. Bone in the building. What's going on, brother? All right, make sure y'all go. Do I have it? I do. Subscribe to Car Parlor of East Wheaton right there. Click that subscribe button to my guy Bone. What's going on, brother? How you feeling, man? Hope you well, sir. So yeah, man, like let's cut all of that, man. Let's cut all of that. If you would not mind, let's cut all of that out. Right? That is what it is. But we can get back to, thank you, brother, for that support, man. LaMarcus Robinson said, yep, birthday, happy birthday, Keys. Keys to the Game said, Queen Aisha, thank you. For the birthday, man. Yeah, happy birthday, man. How old are you, man, if you don't mind telling me? Or you can tell me what decade you're in, either one. You can tell me if you're a 70s baby, 80s baby, 90s baby. You know, when were you a baby? When were you the baby? Give me the decade so I can give you a general deal like that. Fanon, I salute OG to the chat. Respect to the chat. Yes, sir. Happy birthday, Stevie Wonder version. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah, with that song. Yes, hey, that's a beautiful song. Ray Davis in the bill said, happy birthday to my broski. Keys to the Game boxing channel. Yes, sir. I am Billy D. Williams, code 45. Yes, sir. All right, man. Happy birthday, man. Happy 45th, man. Happy 45th. Man, it's weird getting older. It's weird getting older, brother. It's weird getting older. Hold on one second, man. You know me. I gotta do something real quick. You ain't got a lot of people in the chat today. But it is what it is. We're gonna keep it chopping. Hit that real quick. All good, brother. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Where win this fight? What do you mean? Who wins this fight? Who will win what fight? Who wins what fight? What fight are you talking about? Who wins what fight? Hopefully we don't feel old. Nah, I feel the same I've always felt. I don't really feel any different unless I try to run. I feel stiff. But other than that, no, I feel the same, man. I feel the exact same. In my mind, I feel better. No joke. This is the best my mind has ever felt. Like definitely peak. Definitely peak as far as my mindset. But anyway, man, let's get on to this, man. Let's get back onto this. Nah, dude, I really do think that Gervonta Davis is one of the most complete fighters in boxing. And that's something that Leonard Ellery was saying, was talking about. Dude, without a doubt, man, I agreed. I really did agree with him. I looked at all of the different, I'm watching all of these guys too. Like Stevie Fulton Jr. is a very good fighter. I watched Stevie Fulton Jr. fight against God, man, I forgot his name already. The Korean guy that was out of Ukraine when he fought for like that WBO interim title or WBO continental title, something like that. Lorenzo Longino in the building, brother. Thank you for that support, man. Thank you for putting the color in the chat, bro. Means a lot. Thank you, brother. Yeah, man, we missing a lot of people this morning. Hopefully it's not doing that thing again, man. God dog, missing a lot of people, man. Thank you, Lorenzo Longino. Also to my guy, Big Key, said, just want to thank you, Fanon, and my chat family for the daily dose of high-quality boxing talk. Blessings and positivity to you all. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Man, yeah, these notifications going out slow or something. Yeah, Cool Boy Steph is nice, but I kind of see some holes in his game. At least in that fight. I got to go back. But I saw some things that I was like, man, I'm going to be really nervous in this fight with Inoue. Because sometimes, man, he's relies on a lot of athleticism, a lot of quickness. Yeah. Kiagi. Yeah, keys to the game. Yeah, Kiagi. The one where that guy, like when Ray Flores man, I stopped being a fan. I hope I never hear another fight called by Ray Flores. Ray Flores, like, dude, what are you looking at? Dude, Ray Flores, this man literally did like a sweep takedown. Literally swept him, slammed Steve Fulton Jr. to the ground. And this man made an excuse for it. He elbowed this man in the face. He's like, well, he's a lifelong, what do you call it? A Muay Thai fighter. He's a Muay Thai fighter. So, it's hard to separate the two. So he's just probably doing it instinctually. Like, no, bro, he did that. He's elbowing him on purpose. What are you talking about? There's all kind of basketball players that play football. There's plenty of basketball players that have played football. They never grab the fight. They never tackle anybody in the middle of the floor. Okay, you never see him just boom. Oh, I forgot. I'm not playing football anymore. I'm playing basketball. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you ever seen Allen Iverson just pick up the ball and start running? It's like, what do you mean? It's instinctual for him to do a takedown and slam him in a boxing match? Okay, Ray Flores. Like, okay, man. You just excusing it. Anyway, yeah, that dude is wild with it, man. Joe A said, Tank has a chin, hard power technique, and spite. I would say Spence is more complete, though. Spence wastes nothing. Gervonta doesn't waste anything either. Gervonta Davis doesn't waste anything either. Really, neither does Terence Crawford. Neither does Terence Crawford. None of them really waste anything. They're all very, very sound. Very, very sound fighter. He said, Fanon, it is a fight, though. Well, I guess it is a game with a ball, though. Come on, man. You know what a takedown is, dude. I was in hockey, dude. I was in martial arts. You know full well what a takedown is. He did it out of spite because he got frustrated. So he slammed him. Come on, man. The dude was elbowing him. He was doing all kind of stuff. That's on purpose, man. He didn't just forget it, bro. He just didn't forget where he was, man. I ain't trying to hear that, man. You're just excusing a blatant foul. Dave is very calculated. People just look past the ability to box. But look, man, Spence is the most complete fighter since Mayweather has elite fundamentals. Yeah, he does. Yeah, man, the most complete fighter to me is probably, man, I'm just telling you, man, I think Gervonta Davis may be it. He really may be it. Because of his ability to walk him down. Because it is a fight. I'm not making an excuse. Oh, no, I know it is a fight, but it's a boxing match. It's not Muay Thai, okay? Kickboxers, plenty of kickboxers there too. Plenty of kickboxers there too. Plenty of kickboxers there too. Right? Plenty of kickboxers. They don't just kick you in the mouth in the middle of the game. I have not seen that anyway. Anyway, Lorenzo Longino in the building. What's going on, brother? Said Tank is the definition of pound for pound. Yeah, I mean, he's just, look, man, for me, I thought that was just a good observation, man. And I'm trying to duck a certain conversation today. For now, that's why they hate Tank, because he's out because of his output. Yeah, he doesn't waste punches, but he does have a high output. He just makes his punch count. He just makes his punches count. Just makes his punches count. That's what it looks like to me. He makes his punches count. Much more so than a lot of other fighters. However, Fanon, that's, yeah. Oh, Kilo Netter said Gervonta can beat you in a myriad of ways. Yeah, he can. So can all of those other guys. They definitely can do that. A lot of guys can. It's very, to say the most complete fighter though is, can you do everything? You know, but everything really is got to be around the 4 scoring criteria. But I think the only thing where I would say that Errol Spence, there's things that Errol has that Gervonta has with that power. It's the one punch, and it's the ability to knock you out with one punch that I think really kind of combines what Terence Crawford can do and what Errol Spence Jr. can do. You know? And he's got a very, very solid chin. He's got Errol's got a solid chin. I'm not so sure about Terence Crawford's chin. I'm not somebody that is saying that Terence Crawford doesn't have a chin, where there's definitely a lot of people that do that. I'm just saying that I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure how great his chin is. At the same time, not really saying that he doesn't have one. Because I've been watching Terence Crawford a lot. Terence Crawford's gotten hit, and he's taken some very good shots. Now, when he got hit by Yuriokas Gamboa, he most definitely got them stanky legs. And I do think he got dropped by Igis Galvanakis. So, you know, the ability to him to get dropped, like if he gets hit with that same shot Errol Spence hit Sean Porter with, if he hits him with that same shot, then I am thoroughly convinced he's going to go down. If he hits the same, if Errol Spence Jr. gets that same type of hook off on Terence Crawford, Terence Crawford will go down. You know, but the thing is, Terence Crawford he's fighting in a lesser gear, and then he'll amp it up. When he amps it up, though, the question is, when you amp it up, you got another guy that's going to amp it up. And a guy that's not going to start backing up. You got a guy that's going to come forward, and you got a guy that's going to amp it up with you. Right? So it's just a very, very tough situation. Joe A said Bud's chin is his weak point. It's not bad, to be fair. I think when Bud fights elite fighters, we'll know. Yeah, I mean, you know, it is, man. I'm not. Look, I'm always fair to Terence Crawford. I'm always, because I know that I believe. I'm not going to say I know. I believe, because I don't want to get certain people in an uproar. I believe that he's an excellent fighter. You know, I believe he's an excellent fighter. But let's hit these links, man, in case y'all want to get on, bro. It seems like it's a slow morning this morning. I gotta get my I definitely gotta get my my thing out a little bit earlier, man, so people can get these notifications, because clearly they didn't send any notifications out today. Crawford starting off too slow for Spence. He better come out. He better come out ready. I do believe he's going to be down in these rounds. I definitely believe he's going to be down in the rounds to Errol if the fight happens. But let's stop acting like that fight is done, because everybody's clearly telling you that fight is not done. Bomac is saying that hopefully the fight is not done. Terence Crawford is saying the fight is not done. You got Bernie the Boxer saying the fight is not done. You got Steven Espinoza saying the fight is not done. But we know what you got. You know, Kigby said, yeah, I didn't get a notification. Just tuned in as usual. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Matty Yo in the building. Man, Matty Yo don't never leave a comment, but god dog, this man supports this channel. Man, give a round of applause to my guy, Matty Yo, brother. Thank you so much for that support, as always. And also, I hope I didn't miss my guy, Lorenzo. I didn't. Lorenzo Longino, always coming in, man. Thank you, brother. G-Rock said that fight is only happening on a video game. It ain't even happening on a video game, because Errol Spence ain't on no video game. Terence Crawford said that I will not be on that video game if Errol Spence Jr. is on that video game. That's what he did, man. He said, man, Terence Crawford refused. I heard Terence refused to be on that video game if Errol Spence Jr. was also going to be on that video game, because he didn't want no smoke. Even in that, he didn't want anybody just getting him beat up for fun. Hey, Nick, I'm obviously jokes. Nick Ball said, I think Chin also has to do with how you respond after you're getting rocked. Yeah, for sure. Because you got rocked, but you recovered. Yeah, I think that's no doubt, bro. No doubt. If he allows Errol to get up on the cards, it'll definitely be an uphill battle for him. Damn, near impossible for him to win by decision. Yeah, I think it'll be tough for him to win on decision. And also, it's going to be tough for him to get his way out of a hole. It's going to be difficult for him to get his way out of a hole, dude. You're not, most of these guys, man, most of these upper level fighters, bro, you're not going to knock them out with a shot, bro. You're not going to, and he's not Sean Porter, bro. He's not going to run in there with his head down, chin down, with looking for that uppercut when people can predict the shot that he got. Even though I will say that Terence Crawford's uppercut is one of the better uppercuts in all of boxing. So that is definitely something that Errol Spence has to watch out for. He's got to watch out for that uppercut. But again, this is a southpaw situation. And Terence Crawford takes advantage of the fact that he's orthodox, and he keeps his strongest hand closest to you. You know, he's keeping his strong hand close to you. But in the case of Errol Spence Jr., his strong hand is not close to him. It's not closer to him, right? Because he's got, or at least there's something to block that hand, because that man is a southpaw, right? Because he's a southpaw. Or actually, get that right. His hand is not closer because it's back. You know what I mean? It's back. His front, that foot is not forward, that foot is back. So he turns this way instead of turning this way, which means your shoulder is closer to you in that stance. So I think also that stance has a lot to do with it. Hey, thank you, Matty Yo, brother. Thank you so much for that support, bro. That's just gigantic. Thank you. Errol has an elite corner that is second. That second set of eyes, the beast also. Yeah, and he's breaking them down. Yeah, definitely has. I'm not going to say I think Terence Crawford's got an elite corner too. I think he's got an elite corner. Those guys aren't shady over there, bro. They're definitely not shady. Going down on the rounds is going to get him stopped. Yeah, especially if he starts Lorenzo of life. If he starts pressing Errol, dude, Errol's pressing back. That's the fight Errol likes. If you start like you put yourself in a situation like that, Errol is much better suited to that type of fight, bro. He's much better suited to that type of fight. Because that's where, and you're not going to be catching this dude with just one. You're not just going to catch him with one big shot and knock him out. You know what I mean? You're not just going to be overtime setting him up. Fanon, who do you think Tank got a better upcut? You don't think Tank has got a better uppercut than Terence Crawford? I just said Terence Crawford's got one of the best uppercuts in boxing. Yeah, I think Terence Crawford's excellent. Man, his uppercut is crazy, man. That man will hurt you to that body with an uppercut. And he'll hurt you, and he'll knock you out with an uppercut. I've seen both with Terence Crawford. It's because it's a right uppercut. It's a right-handed uppercut in the front. So, yeah. I mean, but does he have a better uppercut than Tank? No, I don't think he has a better one than he had than Tank does. I don't think he has anything in particular that's better than Tank. If you adjust for size, I don't think he does anything better than Tank. That's my point. Like, I think he has some attributes that Tank doesn't have against certain opponents, like the fact that he's longer, like he's got a longer reach. So therefore, he can kind of stay at distance more against the guys that he's fighting. But if for example, if Terence Crawford is fighting somebody like Jermall Charlo with that type of size disadvantage, I don't think that's gonna carry forward in that particular instance. You know what I mean? David was tagging Bud often, not really. I mean, he was hitting him, but he really didn't have anything. He really didn't have anything to hit him with. But look, man, I'm just saying, I'm not somebody that doesn't think Terence Crawford can fight. I know Terence Crawford can fight. All right. Like, I think that is something that is, I think we get twisted up when you become a fan of one fighter versus the other. Errol Spence Jr. is a deadly fighter, bro. Teddy G said, Fanon, I'm a firm believer that obviously mythical, but still Tank versus Crawford at 140. Tank obliterates Bud by KO, sleep, pillow, night. I don't know, man. I just think that there's a big size difference between the two of them. If they're the same size, I'm taking Tank for sure. If they're the same size, I take Tank. For sure, I'll take Tank. Errol, I'm not so sure because Errol's style and aggression cancels out a lot of stuff. That aggression, that style of Errol Spence's cancels out a lot of stuff because it is such a continuous fight. You know what I mean? That it's like, dude, to me, that dude is like sugar. He's like Julio Cesar Chavez, but a little bit more. You know what I mean? And the more he fights, I think the better he gets. And he is very fundamentally sound, so it's really tough to get a good shot off on him. Ray Davis said, Bud Ducks has hit the plateau. He's not going to be as slick as he was in the past. Bud's elite level is hiding with busted gloves, snack sauce, and David Avenetians, but not Ugas type fights. Yeah, I mean, dude, that's honestly, man, that's why I really want to see Errol. That's why I want to see Errol fight Keith Thurman. I kind of like I borderline prefer that fight because there's a lot less headaches for me going into it. And you got to hear, and it'll be an exciting, very, very good fight. And then Errol gets to be in there with somebody again that is a very high level fighter. Because Keith Thurman is a high level fighter. This dude is not any type of scrub, bro. Yeah, Errol can box also. Yeah, he can, absolutely. He's a terrific fighter, man. All these guys are terrific fighters. Errol's style is problems. He said, yes, bro, Julio Cesar Chavez, bro. Because of the fact that he keeps putting pressure on you. Because you're gonna keep moving. If you don't, you are gonna keep moving. And if he is able to cut you off and get you on that rope, you've used a lot of energy trying to keep up off that rope. And he got you up underneath that rope, and he's gonna wear your body down. You know what I mean? And he throws a lot of shots, and they're thudding shots. They're not lightweight shots. They're thudding shots. You don't break people's orbital bones and not being able to punch. You don't break ribs. You don't break ribs, noses, and orbital bones without there being some weight on those punches. You know what I'm saying? So Errol is a combination of Chavez, Hagler, and Terry Norris. You know, it's funny, man. I've been watching a lot of Ray Davis. I've been watching a lot of Terry Norris. Been watching a lot of Terry Norris lately. Watch Terry Norris versus Meldrick Taylor. Watch Terry Norris versus who else I watched Terry Norris fight? Meldrick Taylor. He fought against maybe like three, five. I've watched like 3 fights with Terry Norris recently. Terry Norris, I think, is yeah, he kind of looks like Errol Spence a little bit. You know what I mean? He looks like Errol Spence Jr. a little bit. And Hagler, I can see it on the inside, but Hagler also had a little bit more, like, Hagler was switch more. Not Simon Brown. I'll go back and see, who he fought, but no, it was somebody he knocked out, man. You know what I'm saying? It was somebody Terry Norris knocked out. Fanon, Spence's jab is a huge, Mr. De La Cruz said, Fanon, Spence's jab is a huge factor if he fights Crawford on top of the pressure and the deadly work. Yeah, exactly. He's going to try to cut, and he's going to try to come over the top of the jab, which is a problem. Because Terence Crawford is going to try to come over the top of Errol's jab. When you come over the top of his jab, he's going to slip on the inside, and that's when that body barrage starts, when he slips it. So he's going to have to, I didn't watch that. But that's what I'm saying. Errol's got to be careful of that. Errol's got to be careful of that uppercut coming off that, when he comes over that top of that jab, and then the uppercut coming behind that. You know what I mean? So as long as he's got, but Errol Spence Jr. also does a great job of coming in off the line. He also will sit himself on one side of you or the other, which really does limit your ability to do that. But then he's also, Terence Crawford has great grappling skills. The cutting off of the ring is the biggest factor. If Terence Crawford moves too much over 3 or 4 rounds, bro, at a certain point in time, at 35 years old and all that muscle on him, he's going to have to sit there. He's going to have to sit there because he's not going to gas himself out. He's going to regulate his energy over the course of the fight. He's not going to waste energy. So if he just moves, that's not going to last with him. That's not going to last for 5 rounds. At a point in time, he's going to have to sit down because he's so muscled now. He's muscled. He's 35 years old and he's muscled. I don't see people that are muscled at that weight moving like that. Even if you go back to Floyd Mayweather Jr. Floyd Mayweather Jr. at a point in time was not going to do that all fight. He'll sit down and he'll start slipping shots, countering shots, slipping shots, countering shots. Also, G-Rock, it takes less energy to go forward. It takes less energy to shuffle forward, to move forward, shuffle forward. You see that, and you've seen that in the career of Roy Jones Jr. How, man, Roy Jones Jr. in the beginning of his career, man, super quick. Boom, 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 moving. Could shift and jump sides so fast he could be on the other side of the guy. But no. Not after you put that muscle on. After you put up that muscle, that muscle burns oxygen. DJ OC in the place to be. What's going on, brother? How you feeling, man? I put the link above for my guy, DJ OC, and Bone of the excellent channel called Parlor v. Sweeten. Let's make it happen. Love that house music, brother. What's going on, DJ OC? Akilo Netter said, that's what happened to Plant. Yeah. Errol is 33. Yeah, but Errol is not moving around like that. Errol is moving forward. That's not that. He's moving forward. Step this way, step that way. That can go on forever. That's like Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins was like that. Bernard Hopkins could do that till he's 50. It's way less energy. Shuffle forward, side to side. It's way less energy than backing up on your toes, bouncing on your toes, moving side. No, that's way more energy to do that than it is for you to take a step back. What's going on in the ring with Nonito and Rachel? What's going on, Nonito? Hope you're well. That's why Nonito ages well, because Nonito's sitting down on them punches and taking steps forward, stepping forward. Less energy. Mayweather was smart. He made fighters reset their feet constantly so they can never get comfortable. Yeah, if somebody needs to reset their feet. Beyond the ring, good morning, champ. Yes, sir, champ. Good morning, champ. Good morning, champ. Rachel. I'm about to call her Rochelle again. Rachel. Oh yeah, so that must be Nonito. But yeah, man, it's just, I think they're excellent, both excellent fighters, man, and they match up very well. But that fight ain't made. So stop saying it's made, bro. Stop trying. Y'all always, man, everybody trying to break news. Like, man, I be putting every time you hear me say breaking, I'm joking. Because, man, everybody's like, man, come on, man. I do not. Come on, man. Come on, man. Right. Champ and champ that in the building. But look, the link's in the chat. For anybody that wants to. Now, hey, dog, now can I talk about him? Devin 80. Dog, Terence, your boy is hilarious, bro. Gervonta Davis said, man, you ain't pity. You're not pity patting your way out. You're not pity patting your way out of this. He's like, dog, he said, man, the dude playing pity pat. Dude, he looked at that dude like, if you say that dude's name, I ain't answering the question. Say the name and I'm not answering the question. Hey, man, he had that dude, Sean. Shout out to that dude, man. Never met him, but shout out to him. Does good work. He had that guy getting real quiet with it. Like, he was looking at me like, man, if you get this dude a commercial on my time, dog, you try to get this man a commercial on my time, dog. I'm not trying to hear it, dog. But he did say, what are you going to do if you get in there with the more slick fighters that diddle do? He's like, look, if you pity patting, what you going to do, dog? You mean the ones that are pity patting? How you going to keep me off me? How you going to keep me off you if you pity patting? That means something, bro. Like, you got to be able to break somebody down. Like, you got to break somebody down, bro. Did you get a chance to rewatch Mayweather Cotto? No, I'll watch that today, though. I'll do that today. That'll be the fight that I watch today. Mayweather Cotto. I've seen Mayweather Cotto like twice, though. Mayweather Cotto put up a really good fight against Mayweather. Don't get me right, he put up a good fight against Mayweather. He lost handily, but he put up a good fight against Mayweather, man. He did. Yeah, he did. I think at that time in Mayweather's career, being it when he was a little bit older, I think that kind of helped him a little bit. And that Floyd wasn't moving around a lot, and Cotto's the bigger guy. That was wasn't that at 154 too? Like right before the Canelo fight? I think that was in 154 at the one. It was at 154 for the Canelo fight. You know what I mean? GTG in the building.
What up, Fanon?
Good, man. What's going on with you?
Man, chilling. I just watched the media workout and all that stuff. Waking up this morning, looking at what's raining in Texas where I'm at. So,
yeah, I'm in Texas too. It's overcast here.
Yeah, see, so I don't know, man. I'm watching it. My only question is, I don't think Ryan gonna win. But do you think it's gonna be like an Andre Ward fight to where he gets like Tank gets stunned and he comes back and shows us why he's Tank? Or you think he's just going to mollywop him all the way through?
I don't know, man. I think that Ryan Garcia is more than likely going to throw a lot of punches in the first round or the first or second round. I think that he's going to try to shoe shine Tank a lot from the outside. That's what I think. Think he's going to try to think he's going to try to do a lot of that. I think that Gervonta is going to be trying to work on the inside, and he's just going to hit him with big shot. I think Gervonta Davis is going to hit him with big shots from round one till whenever the fight is over, because there's just defensive issues that are out there for Ryan Garcia. Also, I really do question Ryan's one-punch knockout power. I've been watching his fights. He did not one-shot knockout. I haven't seen him one-shot knock out somebody in the last. Like Luke Campbell, I guess you could call that body shot that, but that isn't really. What is that? He said, "How again Fanon? He gonna shoe shine him, Nonito. He gonna be throwing them like that. You know what I mean? So he gonna throw some very fast punches, right? And you're gonna have people. Oh yeah, he's gonna go to the corner with yeah. And over time, I think he's just gonna get broken down. Them body shots are gonna start hitting. Them one shot, them straight rights, them straight left hands are gonna start landing on him.
The thing Ryan said he can't do those straights, crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but look, we'll see. We'll see how it takes place. I got Gervonta winning the fight because I just think Gervonta Davis over the course, it's a 12-round fight. And I don't see Ryan Garcia knocking him out, and even knocking. But if he knocks him down, I don't think it's even going to be like Ward and Kovalev, because Ward never. First of all, I think Kovalev's a better fighter than Ryan Garcia is.
True.
You know, Kovalev has two hands. Kovalev has a left. He has a left hook. He has a jab, a left hook. He also has a big right. He also has a big right hand. But as far as him wearing him down over the course of time, yeah, Fonseca got one shot. Yeah, it's Fonseca. You know, we'll go back. I'll go back and look and see if he laid him out like that. But you know,
I see a Santa Cruz exit. Like I see a Tank uppercut because Ryan fights too high. I see he ducking that hook, coming up with an uppercut, and that man gonna be flying.
Now, I would think it would come over the course of maybe like 3 rounds where he gets hurt. Like he can get hurt he'll get hurt in the third, something like that. Like Gervonta may drop him in the third once or twice, and then he could get up and he could fight and he could look like he's doing something, and you know, maybe get a round or two on people's cards, and eventually Gervonta is going to get closer, continually hitting him to the body. I think the biggest problem with Ryan Garcia is going to be the body shots and breaking him down with uppercuts and hooks to the body. Also, that jab to the body, I think, is going to be very big, because Gervonta Davis gets very low on that. He gets very low on his jabs to the body. But yeah, that's kind of what I think, man.
All right, bet. Yeah, I see it going only 4. I think going only 4. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I've been watching the all accesses, watching the little montages of trainings we get to see. I see Tank taking it like he finna fight in a Super Bowl, and Ryan taking it like, oh, you know, just another fight for me. Like he's been in a pay-per-view. Like he's been in a pay-per-view of this magnitude. He's like, oh, this is my moment and stuff like that, which is cool. But it's like, where's the respect for somebody who is great? Tank is at least showing respect to Ryan. He just don't like the antics Ryan does. I don't see no respect Ryan's way. And I think stuff like that, when you already got deficiencies in the ring, is only going to lead you to lead to a downfall in the ring. And having 2 different trainers, you get trained by your daddy and by Joe Goosen. Nah, man, that's not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we'll see. I think Ryan just, you know, Ryan's trying to sell it, man. He's doing a lot of, you know, I don't think that's Ryan seems to me to be kind of like Sugar Ray Leonard. Like, you don't really get who he really is based on listening to him. When a kid is like, I don't know how old is he, 25 or something?
Yeah, 25.
When at 20, anybody that's 25 years old that sits down there and tries to tell you about you know, try to be like a life philosopher. To me, it's like, man, you're 25 years old. You know what the most important thing in life is when you really truly believe in yourself. And like, hold on, man, you're 25 years old, bro. You literally just got out your daddy's house and you acting like you some 75-year-old grizzled veteran of the world. How about you just go train? You know what I mean? You listen to the trainer, you stay in, because, you know, that's just kind of what I think. But all right, bro, thank you, man. I appreciate you for jumping on, man.
Yes, sir. Salute. Have a good day.
All right, brother. Salute to you, brother. Always good to see you, man. Good to put a face to a name. Hope you come back again, man.
Always.
Peace. Yes, sir. All righty. Yeah, that chin is 70. Hey, how are you for now? Virgil Wembley said, what's good, Chad? I'm good. I'm good, brother. And again, Malcolm Allen, thank you, brother, for that support. Thank you, brother. Let me check this Cash App. Thank you, man. Appreciate y'all for actually showing up this morning. Yeah, man. So, you know, like Ryan Garcia acts like he's an 80-year-old. Like, he acts like he's my age. Like, I can tell you things like this. Like, hey, look, man, you just need to really be constructive every day and set your goals and make your goal day by day. You know what I mean? What is going on? Hopefully this is actually you.
Hi.
Hey, Rachel, what's going on, sister? How you feeling?
Oh, good. I love catching you guys. It's so weird because we're literally 12 hours off you guys, or it's 10 p.m. over here. So I like wait to stay up to hear you talk, and then I go to sleep. So, but it's hard to go to sleep after I hear you talk, because then, you know, stuff races in my mind about the fights and what you talked about. But yeah, we're over here on the other side of the freaking world, trying to figure out like how we're supposed to go live in the middle of the night and stuff like that over here, to talk to you guys. But you know, there's I'm really excited for the Tank and the Ryan Garcia fight. I think me and Inoue had the same thoughts of you about doing that shadow boxing that you were doing just now. Your shoot shining.
What's that? What were your thoughts? Because that's what it looked like to me.
No, I think I agree with you. I think he's going to come out trying to blast like a bunch of punches. I don't think he's necessarily going to overreach. I think that when Tank gets him to reach in, gives him a false range of distance, leans a little bit inward, but then is able to slip Ryan's punches. You know, we all know that Tank gives away the first couple of rounds. He establishes range and distance and timing. So that's not going to be a surprise at all. I think Brian's going to be very excited to jump in there and try to put his hands on him. That will effectively be a detriment because he's just going to just read it like a book. Like, okay, this is his distance. This is where he's comfortable. This is his weight distribution. This is his timing. All right, cool. Now I just got to be able to slip the first couple punches and then get right in his face. I mean, that's what Tank does.
Great observation. Hey, Rachel, can I run off some things real quick? Because I don't want to get behind on these people supporting the chat. Because, you know, the star show.
No, of course. Of course. You know. Do you? Yeah.
Hey, real quick. Ray Davis said, perfect statement. Tank is like the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and Ryan is like the Cinderella team in college football playoff. Great analogy. And, yeah, I like that analogy. And then my guy, Stone Alone, what's going on, brother? Thank you for the support. He said, thank God it's Friday, top of the morning for 9. I'm late, but I'm here. Thank you, brother. Thank you for always supporting the channel, man. Stone Alone and other channels too. Stone Alone. Thank you. And John Bowie in the building said, and I'm going to give you guys all a gong at the same time, man, because it's blessings and nothing but positivity towards y'all. And John Bowie, king of the YouTube super chats, said, good morning, family. Shout out to everybody. Had a late night, so I'm trying to get a little more sleep. Shout out to my bro and sis, Rachel in Nonito. Happy birthday, Keys. Yes, sir. Oh, happy birthday to Keys, to the Game Boxing channel. Then we have what I missed a little bit earlier was Mr. Pageant. Thank you, brother, for the $25 holler. With nothing, didn't even say anything, just supported the channel, brother. So thank you, because you know we over here like public broadcasting. We ain't rich like the Donaires, making all that long cheese. and Mr. Pageant again said, hey, I accidentally sent $25. Please return it. Yeah, okay, no worries. Hold on one second. Mr. Pageant said $25. Please return it. Yes. Greg Pageant. Hold on one second. Jeez, how do I do this? God dog. My thing just froze. Okay, give me a second, Mr. Pageant. God dang it. My phone froze. And then, but let me get the rest, and then while she's talking, I'll send it back. Damn. Man, my app isn't responding. Hold on one second. Okay, we back at it. And then my guy Greg Paget said, I accidentally sent 25. Please send it back. Yep. Joseph Red said, a Wilder and Fury is the biggest to this day. This streak. Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man, for that $5 holler. Thank you very, very much. Yeah, I think it's a big fight, man. I don't know. What do you think, Rachel? What's the biggest fight in boxing?
Well, I mean, like, let me just put it this way, and I've been saying this. I think it's a very popular fight. Like, is it the best fight of, like, if we're talking about the science of boxing? I don't believe so. But is it the most popular fight? 100%. Will it bring eyes that, you know, we keep saying this, like, I hate the YouTube boxing because I don't feel like it generates, you know, the science of boxing, that kind of viewership that we are, you know, we really do want to breed. But is it popular? Yes, it's popular. Now, my thing is that, you know, take away Ryan's face, take away his smooth boy attitude, take away his TikTok followers and all that other stuff. You have a guy that's 21-0, right? If I'm correct on his record, I'm not quite sure.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And you can pull any other guy that has a 21-0. There's multiple guys that are from different countries that have that kind of record. There's guys in the US that have records like that, but they don't have a following. And that's why I call it more so of the fact that it's a popularity fight. Like it's no shame in saying that because Ryan's never really held a belt. So for him to challenge someone like Tank, who's held a belt and is revered to be, scientific in his way, great timing, has fought people like, Leo Santa Cruz and down the line, and then you put him up against someone like Ryan. It's like, great, you have a whole TikTok follower fan base. Hopefully they didn't come to watch you dance in the ring and they came to watch you fight, and we'll buy the pay-per-views. I mean, it'll be telling, right? Like, but for me, like, if you talk about like the science of boxing, then it's of course the fight that has not still been made. It's Bud Crawford versus Errol Spence. That's more of a scientific fight. That's of course bread and butter of boxing, but it might not be.
I think the question that they asked, though, just to kind of redirect to the question, I think they were, in the particular question was about Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua and how big you think that fight is. But I love that breakdown of this fight. But what did you, just to get to his question, then immediately go back to what you're breaking down, because I'll ask you the same question.
No, I think that's a hell of a fight too. They're kind of even, and it's.
Oh, what up, brother? How you doing, man?
Big. Hey, everybody, bow down. Take a knee.
No, never, man, never.
What's going on, man?
No, I'm great, man. I'm great, and I'm just listening to it, and I think that's a hell of a fight because you got both guys who got power, and they're kind of more of like they're evenly in a way that they could win. They both can win if they put their skills together. If they so for Wilder it would be straight. Wilder would come in there, drop that right hand right down the middle and get his knockout and all that stuff. But then I think if Anthony Joshua keeps his hands up and get tight and turtle shell up, he might tie Wilder up and he might get inside and he might land those heavy punch, because he does have power. But I think Wilder is more, to me, has a better probability of landing those bigger shots, or his bigger shot. But again, it just depends on what type of opponent that'll be going in front of him in terms of Joshua. I think Joshua, if he has his defense up, I think his defense is going to be the key to winning the fight against Wilder, and just keep bullying him and pushing him, because Wilder don't have power when he doesn't have that distance, and that's pretty much just what it all comes down to. I think it's a hell of a fight. It's an entertaining fight, and I think that it could go both ways.
Man, great breakdown, man. Appreciate that, man. So what do you think about this, Gervonta? What do you think about, let me get these couple super chats, Nonito. I'm sorry, because I don't want
For sure, brother, for sure.
I don't want to, like, because what we said, man, we don't shine like y'all over here. Yeah, John Boy said, prayers up to my brother Slick Skip in the building. Stay strong, brother. Yes, sir, man. Slick Skip. If you did not know Slick Skip, I think he's suffering from, or he is in the process of healing from cancer. So prayers and best wishes and all of that to Slick Skip. Definitely a big supporter of the channel, but a great guy. More importantly, a great guy. So all our positive energy is going out towards you. Also, to my guy, Greg Padgett, you have been refunded your $25, so that should be back in your Cash App. And again, anytime anybody accidentally sends something, please let me know, and I will definitely refund it to you. I ain't trying to take anybody's money on accident. Anthony Farr said, from a Kilo Netter. Oh, I'm sorry, I've said it. Have a great day. Thank you, Kilo Netter. Thank you, bro. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, these Donaires, man. They just bring all the prosperity right with them. And then my guy John Bowie said, I intended to send you $25. John Bowie, thank you, brother, man. Thank y'all for the blessings, man. God dog, thank you for the blessings and allowing an old man to do this and not starve doing it. Thank you. Malcolm Allen said, I intentionally sent you $25. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man, for the love and the Cash App, man, because that is how channels like this are able to go without really being able to having to rely and say things you don't really mean. My guy Artrick said, Ryan Garcia gonna shock a lot of people. Much love in that super chat. He may, man. Anything can happen. You can catch somebody, he can crack. But we'll see. Terry Thomas in the building said, I got 5 on that 25. Much love, Martin. and the chat. Thank you, brother, and thank you for calling me by my the name my mama gave me. Appreciate you. And my guy Jason Henderson said to my man's Fanon, keep up the work. Yes, sir. Will do, man. Will do. And I think there may be one more super chat from my guy John Bowie. John Bowie in the building says, I'm not getting yelled at. My guy Stone Alone. Fight moved to July. Bro, tickets are still good. Okay, that's what's up. So yeah. Oh, you're talking about in Dallas for your boy Virgil Ortiz, man. I'll definitely be at that fight, man. I can't wait. Hey, you guys got to go to a fight with Nonito, though. You got to go to a fight with Nonito. Because that shit is like being, hey, man, that shit was dope. I can't lie. Keys to the Game boxing channel. That shit was dope, dude. I'm telling, man, that was dope. For real, for real. Like, because, yeah, man, it's a different experience to be with a champion.
I just tell you, like, hey, act like you're the promoter, like you're the big boss here, man. Just do it. You know,
yeah,
they ain't gonna ask.
And they said stop, and then you said, "Look, man, I'm Nonito." The man said, "I'm Nonito," and then the guy looked around. He's like, "Nonito," and yeah, and then the lady came over. It's like, that's Nonito. Let him through. Let him through. That man right there gets free pass. Keys to the Game said, "I didn't know." Prayers to Slick Skip. Yes, sir, man. Slick Skip. And then my guy Stone Alone said, John Boy, yes, sir. Prayers up to Slick Skip. And David Williams, huge in the super chat, said, Fanon, this is us, not a mistake. And if it was, don't send it back because you deserve everything great that comes your way for keeping it real. Now, question. Has Davis's chin really been tested? I've never seen a fighter land a flush on the button. I'm passing that off to Nonito Donaire.
Well, I think the way he is, he's fresh. You know, that you never seen him. Anybody who don't get hit that much most likely will have a chin. You know, and that's the thing about it is the way Tank goes in there, he tuck his chin. You know, and because he's so compact that guys like him are more likely to have a chin than a Fondora kind of guy. You know, so with Tank, I think he can take a punch because his chin is down there, and he's so compact. His muscles are together, and you know, and I think that he can take a punch. I mean, if you get hit with it, you're gonna go down. That's for sure. You know, but I think guys like a taller, skinny guy are more likely to suffer severely with the heavier punch landing than a compact, short guy like Tank.
Well, and I think like that, you know, if you turn that twist around and be like, well, he hasn't really taken a punch. It's like, you can't blame the guy for not taking a punch. Like not taking a punch, but not giving that opportunity to get that punch land, right? Like,
but if he does, this is what I think is he can take it is because of the way his body structures and bone structure is set. You know, he just a tank. That's why he's a tank. That's why he's called Tank. You know. But most likely those guys are the tougher guys who can take in. But of course, don't get me wrong. There's a spot. There's a spot that you get hit because I can get hit anywhere, but then I get hit somewhere like in the temple. I'm blanking out, you know. So
back of the ear.
You know, the back of the ear. There's spots for everyone that when you do get hit, you get buzzed a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be the chin. But like I said, like I think if you're going to say something like that, you have to give credit where credit's due. He hasn't gotten hit. That's not his fault. That's actually his doing. So you have to give him credit for not taking a flush shot to get tested.
You know, you don't want to take a shot for a shot with Tank, you know, and that's why I think people kind of pull back their punches, pull back their stance or distance because Tank can crack.
Yeah, I've seen Tank get hit and it's just because it's fresh in my memory because I'm watching a lot of boxing. So I saw him get hit by what's a Cuban dude's name? Uriokas Gamboa.
Gamboa.
Yeah, Gamboa hit him. Gamboa had a real flush shot on him, and he kind of like leaned up back against the ropes, and then Mario Barrios hit him with a left hook. That sent him where he kind of fell back on the ropes and then he came back, but then he just kind of pressed forward. But that's a great observation because a lot of those were kind of punches that some of the punches they really didn't follow through on them, or they're more like arm punches that because they seemed like they wanted to kind of get the shot back. Hey, much love for that super chat. Salute to the GWOAT, Barbara D and Slick Skip. Yes, hey, Barbara D is in the building. I see Barbara D. And T Wells in the building said, here's 5 because I want to be like John Boy. Hi. Salute to all my guys in the chat. By the way, Buzz still ducking. Salute to Rachel Donaire. Let me tell you the truth about John Boy. John Boy is one of these highly rich Asians. You saw that movie about filthy rich Asians?
Yes.
Hey, I want to say what's up to John Boy.
That's John Boy.
Yeah, I want to say what's up to him, though, man. You know.
What'd you say?
I said, I want to say what's up to John Boy, though, because I remember before we went to the Philippines, he got into a car accident and stuff like that. I'm glad he's doing good. Yeah.
He's doing much better, man. Much better. What's going on to the Rise podcast? Calling hey Rise, why your boy Terence Crawford called Devin Haney the pity pat champion? This shit's not right, bro. Hey, Jay, I gotta ask you that question. Jay Miller said, what does this fight come down to? Footwork? Ryan doesn't move great, and his feet aren't as fast his feet aren't fast like his hands. Luke clipped him coming in. When does Tank knock him out? Again, I gotta always go to the expert, and that's Rachel and Nonito.
Well, the thing about Luke Campbell is hella tall. Okay, Tank is short, so it's all a matter of Tank getting in there, because one thing that Ryan does is he leans. Now, he doesn't have fast footwork, that's for sure. He got fast hands, but he's right there. And this is why I'm leaning on Tank, is because when you get a guy who doesn't move, but he has speed, all you can do is block. And when next thing you know, we see it from Floyd, we see it from a lot of guys, when they get hit, they can counter right off the bat. And that's gonna be a detriment to him if he doesn't move his leg, because Tank is gonna come out there and take that distance away and take that block that first punch and be able to counter behind that. So I think that's a detriment for Ryan Garcia if he does not move his legs.
If he doesn't move his legs in the same way that, like, for example, Devin is really good at it. Devin creates distance. Whenever someone's too close, he usually has that range where he's able to create the distance again with a half a step back. And so you're having to chase him almost. And if Ryan just throws his jab and his feet are nonchalant, thinking that he's going to plant on that jab right there, and Tank slips it, now he's over near his elbow, being able to throw off shots and not being able to move, whether backwards or slip it at that point, considering he's right there and one hand is already out, then that's going to be detrimental to Ryan.
Well, one thing that we do know about Ryan is when he throws that jab, he likes to throw and lean to the left to throw a left hook to get himself out of there. But that's on a right-handed fighter. Now you get a guy who's a lefty, he's coming in there, and when you throw that jab, or if Tank slips that jab, he's gonna be right there. He's gonna be right there. He's gonna be right there to throw that body. He's gonna be right there to throw that hook, and all of that, because that's just how it works with southpaws and right-handed. With right hand, Ryan can throw in a jab and Ryan can throw in a jab and he can lean on that jab and push off with the hook at the end of that. So he'll throw a jab to push it off. Somebody comes in, he's leaning back to the left and he's throwing that left hook, and moving to his left. Now he can't do that with Tank, because Tank can throw in, slip that jab. He won't be able to have any push off to get his hook out. And at the same time, Tank can throw that straight right down the middle and land that straight when he slips the jab from Ryan.
Yep.
God dog, man. Say that again. You got me twisted up. So
Yeah.
That is a very highly technical breakdown of that one. So you're saying when he throws his left, first of all, I've seen Ryan lean over. That's what I thought. And I thought he leaned in on with his right, straight right. Because as Luke Campbell, it looked like when he threw his jab, he came behind with the 1-2. Then he looked to me like he leaned over his front foot with his right, with the when he's about to throw a right, that he leans in too much. But you're saying he throws the jab, and then on the left he's leaning in to his left with the left jab, and then
Yeah, to get himself to step out, you know.
oh,
That's
okay,
what he
yeah,
does. Is he throws that jab and then he throws a hook
because
and he
he's
steps
stepping
out
away
at
from
the
the
same
right.
time.
He's stepping away from
Yeah,
the right.
exactly. But when you're southpaw, somebody, especially if Tank
Ooh,
push his feet outside of him of Ryan, he can't move because he'll be trapped. And that right hand right down the middle is gonna land every time.
But
yeah.
give us like 2 minutes. The boys are saying goodnight.
Oh, no worries, man. Ain't not going anywhere. I just put you right here. Just once you, I just leave you up. Don't worry about it. Yeah, no worries. Um, yeah, man. God dog, it's nice to have very, very well educated conversations. Once you get back, well, no. I don't, because I won't be able to know whether or not you're there or not if I put you in the back. Hold on one second. John Boy said, "Hey, does this?" Okay, that's my guy, John Boy. Jay Miller, man. Much love in that super chat. Hold on one second. Let me get to John Boy. Said, "Let's not be silly. I'm old. I don't spend my money on anything but donations." Hey, man, that's a blessing, brother. Thank you for being a supporter, John Boy. No, I'm not even going to joke with that. I greatly appreciate you, brother. And T. Well said, "For John Boy, for letting me know all these donations are tax deductible. Also, for Unc of this boxing talk." Yeah, they are tax deductible. If you have any business related to boxing, it is the business expense. Every donation that I give to somebody it is marketing. That's how I do, because it is. You usually put your name up there. You talk about your business as a marketing expense. And there is no better marketing expense in boxing than this. Because you get so many people right there that'll interact with you in the comment section. All of that stuff, man. Yeah, keep track of it for tax purposes. T Wells 32 said, "For as long as it's marketing and it's related, you say something about your business and it's marketing." Yeah, absolutely it is. Just like putting up an ad on YouTube, it'd be tax deductible. It's a business expense. It's an ad. T Well said, "For John Boy for letting me know all these donations are tax deductible." Okay, cool. I got you. And I think that's it on the super chats. Yeah, man, that is. Hey, thank you guys so much for that support, man. That is big. Big. And again, just wanted to remind. Oh, I missed it. Yay. Mr. Wall said, "Here's a double 25, man. Thank you, brother." To my guy with the highly gifted kennels, brother. Thank you, brother, for that support, man. And again, man, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not gonna steal your money. If I make the mistake, just let me know. And my guy, my lady, I'm sorry, Barbara Davis said, "For Martin." Thank you very much. I appreciate when people call me Martin because it helps my
Okay,
mind.
Martin.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And let me
I
tell
call
you what.
Martin all the
No,
time though.
you
That's
know why? It's because like even here, right? There's some guys like at the boxing gyms in Philippines that we know their full name, but
they don't.
they have a different name here, right? Like they don't want to associate their family name and stuff like that. So like for me,
No, when I met Martin, I was just like, "Hey, what's up, Martin?" You're like, "Hey, you call me Martin." I'm like, if that's what you want, I'm gonna call you Martin. So
no, I know. I'm just saying, like, I just like for me, like I especially the ones that have this incognito like persona on the internet. I'm like, okay, so I'm just gonna keep calling you this so I don't accidentally slip up. But yeah, okay, I'll call you Martin.
No, yeah, you can like it helps me because like sometimes when I like go out like just into the public or in my mind, I'll refer myself as Fanon. In my mind, I'll refer to myself like that, and I'll be like, "Hold on, man, my name is Martin. Why am I? You know what I mean? Like if you have a
yeah,
scenario go through your mind when somebody's talking to you and they refer to you as Fanon, then it's just weird, man. So anyway, man, I appreciate when people call me, but if you want to call me Fanon, do that as well. I greatly appreciate it.
I like the name Martin, so I'm gonna stick with Martin.
Yeah,
Okay.
your mama called me Martin. I'm gonna call you Martin. I appreciate it, man. So anyway, man. So back to it. He said that's deep. Yeah, I'm telling you, in your own mind, man, you can get tripped up on your own personality, man. Let me ask you a question, though, Nonito, because this is an observation. John Boy said I tried to drop 20 in the super chat and ducked out for some sleep. Oh, hey, thank you, John Boy. You're the man, John Boy. What do you think about what Gervonta Davis said about oh no, this is even better. For you. What do you value more? The belts or the money that comes from the fights for the belts?
Well, depends on where I'm at in my stage, right? So in the early stage, it was about making money, right? And then when it came down to it, now it became about legacy. And at the end of it all, it's just mainly all of it, because you do want to make that money, but you do want to fight the best out there, because I'm the kind of guy that want to fight the best out there. I'm the kind of guy that want to see the best in me. You know, if I'm fighting somebody who is good, who is great, I gotta be great. You know, so for me, that's the challenge that I have, is I want to keep challenging people, but at the end of it all, money comes along with it. That's the thing, is you don't need to seek money if you're seeking the best fights out there. You know what I'm saying? So it ultimately for me, it was mainly for me getting to the best of me by fighting the best out there. But at the end of it all, at the end of the day, money came along because challenge and the fight, the people that I was fighting had to be paid, or had to pay me in that sense. You know, it just goes hand in hand. You know, you don't just go, oh, I want to make money, or I want to make money, I want to make money, and you're not fighting the best out there. You know, it's just not gonna work. But if you go out there, for me, thinking that, you know what, I'm gonna fight the best out there, you know, so they can challenge me, so I can be on the best of me, and I can showcase that, and I'm working out, and then I have a purpose, and along the way, money just goes along with it.
Well, let me just say this, like, you know,
Well, you gotta have a good manager to kind of put it together.
We've gone butted heads on this. Like, if everybody remembers, after the Montiel fight, Nonito had a hiatus for about
Almost a year.
six. No, it wasn't.
6 to 8 months.
It was barely. He fought in February against Montiel. He was back in the ring by December, and he was crying and complaining. And I was like, "Let me get this, because this is not right." And he, you know, by 4 months after the February fight with Montiel, he was like, "I don't care if I fight for 20,000." I'm like, "Yeah, no." I was like, "You're the world champion. You beat someone who, you know, the odds were ridiculous, and no." And he was like, "Just get me back in the ring." And, you know, so I hear him, how he's saying about this now, because legacy will trump what you make. Honestly, like, at the end of the day, when we look back at this in 20 to 50 years, no one's going to give a shit. They're not going to be like, "Oh, he was, you know, that fight made him how much." They're going to ask who he fought, the quality of opponents when he fought him. And that's what puts you into the Hall of Fame, not the money you made. They don't care about that. Hall of Fame does not care about the money you made. It's the quality of opponents. But there are times where, you know, Nonito does fight for legacy, and I will protect his, you know, what he's done in his career to make for the best opportunity for the fight that's given.
I'm just putting your picture up there real quick so everybody knows. Because some people, you know, we got some people that can be kind of casual fans. This is who we're talking to. We're talking to Nonito Donaire. Nonito Donaire Nonito Donaire been in the Hall of Fame for years now, really. But yeah, man, Nonito Donaire is one of the best fighters. Definitely one of the best fighters of this century. Definitely in the weight classes of 122 pounds. He's a champion. What were you champions in between 118,
12, 15, 18, 22, and 26. They didn't give me a credit for 15 though, because I got an interim, but nobody wanted to fight me. So I ended up moving up because nobody wanted to fight me. But they said, "Oh, you're a world champion because nobody wants to fight you." So I only got the interim because nobody wanted to fight me. You know, everybody was trying to skip around me. So that's why I fought for the interim, you know. But yeah.
And that's a difficult position about the interim champions. It's not, you know, unless you have it in writing that once you take on the interim championship, that you are still going to be the mandatory. Once you give up that mandatory position, it gets really sticky. And that's where Nonito was. You know, we couldn't mandate the fight. They're like, "No, you fought an interim championship. You're the interim champion." And we're like, "But we're not full." And they're like, "But there's a mandatory." It's a weird position to be in, to be like the secondary or third champion in the division.
Yeah, it's weird.
And you can't mandate you can't request to be a mandatory for the champion, and you can't force their back up against the wall to say, "Hey, no, I'm next in line. We need a fight." You know, so, you know, we made that mistake early on with the 115. So that's why Nonito is trying to, you know, challenge whoever our plan, of course, is to get the WBC 118. If there's a shot at the 115 WBC, we'll go that way. Or if any of those other guys have an opportunity to defend voluntarily, then we'll fight a 115. But it's been really quiet at the 115 division, and the only guy that wants to fight us is Fernando Martinez, who has a mandatory in June. After that, he has a voluntary. So, considering the fact that purse bid for that fight at 115 IBF Championship only made the purse bid of $25,000, I think they're going to be more inclined to come talk to us after that.
Yeah. So real quick, hey, Slick Sip said 8 for 9. You, John Boy, and his brother are going to the Shakur Tank fight about a year from now. Let's hope it happens. Love to y'all. Hey, thank you, Slick Skip. I'm telling you, man, I got a lot of nut jobs following around me right now, man. I get real like if I'm in a funny situation because I pay for tickets, but also I don't want to go through the general entrance in some of those fights because there's so many nut jobs out there, man. You know what I mean? Like, we
spoiled you.
No, man, yeah, you spoiled me. But on the real, like, there's like I have literally gotten a death threat from dang near a fan of every major boxer at some point in time. So it's like, because I'll say what I think. You know what I mean? Like, just it gets kind of wild, man. So I don't mind paying for my ticket, but like, man, it's just weird for me, man, because I'm just a boxing fan. I'm not you. You know what I mean? Nonito, like, you're you.
We get death threats. Actually, we're trying to look for those death threats right now. They're hiding. We're like, because they're like, oh, you're in the U.S. I'm like, we're in Philippines, bitch. We know your address. And they're over hiding.
That's right for you, man. She's hardcore like that. She faced whatever.
I see y'all, man. Yo, she wow. Hey, John Boy said, we all going to be praying for your surgery. We all going to be praying for your surgery. Slick Skip, my brother, keep us up to date or keep us updated. Yes, sir, man. Please do. And again, going to bring positive energy to you, Slick Skip. Thank you so much for your support, man.
There it is.
Yes, sir. And Teddy G said, Mr. and Mrs. Donaire. Mrs. Donaire. Actually, what is it? It's Mr. and Mrs. Rachel and Nonito Donaire is how you're supposed to say it. Because you never, you're always supposed to say your wife's name first because you're never supposed to separate a man from his name. So it is, I always remember that, like, because my mother is very, 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 like, particular about things like that. It's Mr. and Mrs. Rachel and Nonito Donaire, because the name is Nonito Donaire, and Rachel took your name. So you never separate. It's never Nonito and Rachel Donaire. But anyway, he said, Mr. and Mrs. Donaire, salute to you. What is y'all's honest opinion about Bud and EJ's saga?
Well, I think there was a lot of things going on before that. I think that it needs to happen. I think that both guys are trying to make it happen in their own ways, but there's just so many in-betweens, and there's so many, this person said this, that person said that. And, for me, I just kind of like, man, just, you know what, wake me up when it happens. That's just it. Because I got to a point where I'm like, okay, he's talking this, he's talking that. But I hear from people, though, and organizations saying that, they're talking and all of that. And I'm like, you know what? If they are, and if they do, and when it's done, wake me up and I will watch the fight. That's just it. I'm done with trying to trying to say this has to happen or that has to happen or that guy shouldn't have done this or that person should have done this and all that stuff. I'm just like, you know what? Just make the goddamn fight happen, and that's a good fight to watch.
I mean, I think for me, like, it's more so the fact that, like, this is the social media era, and, like, a lot of people, actually, I would say 99.9% of the people don't know what me and Nonito do, right? Like, we slip in the darkness, we move the way we move, and then we show up somewhere, and they have no idea. And, like, I think because of social media, there's so many sources and things like that, and people slip to the media, and of course the media says sources say, and then there's back and forth and bantering, and I just feel like if you all just shut the hell up, stop talking to people, and sit in I'm really big on just negotiating in a boardroom. Sit there as if it's a what is it called when you're not in court, but you're arbitration. Sit in an arbitration, go back and forth for hours on end, and figure this shit out.
See, Martin's like, yeah, I know what that word is.
I was gonna say mediation, because it's not a arbitration.
Yeah, you're right.
Mediation, yeah, there you go. Yeah, those words, that one. See, I know what you're talking about, man.
yeah, I definitely got you. Yeah, it's mediation, man. You sit down, you have some arbiter, somebody, a mediator or an arbitrator. Arbitrator is when you have an issue, like when you, at least that's how I think about it. But again, we got our expert on here, Tony or T. Orlando Pearson, that will correct me if I'm wrong, because he's like he's a practicing federal litigator, and a law professor, so he always corrects me on shit. But it is what it is, man. Lady Erica B, let me get a couple things real quick. Lady Erica B said, "Hey, thank you, sister." Said, "Shout out to you for 9. I would rather give my coin. I wouldn't rather give my coins to any other channel. Thank you very much, because, hey, man, I wouldn't rather. I don't want you to either." Just anyway, kidding. But thank you, sister, for your support. And Ray Davis said, "For 9, you are built like Debo, just snatching chains and keeping moving, snatching chains and keeping moving." I'm a big guy. I'm a big dude, but let me tell you, I'm a big dude that should be a little smaller. But Rachel Donaire, I swear, she has no off button. Because we were sitting there.
What does that mean?
You looked at me in my face like, I was like,
you were hungry 3 times in the night that we spent with you.
It takes a lot to keep this on. What you talking about?
That's because you're so damn tall. Like, man, literally, when we're going backstage, most of the time, like, we sneak by everyone. No one even like bats an eye. They're like, whatever. Like,
but you got a big old dude behind you. And like, hey, he can't be in here. You can't pretend that you're just, part of the wall or something like that, man. You can't pretend.
We're under the line of sight. You were in the line of sight.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm highly. That's why I tell people. Like, people always talk shit, and they'll be like, okay, but I say usually when you see me, I'm a little bigger than you think I am, and it's
you are
definitely something somebody will think about, right? But at the same time, I look at Nonito, I'll be like, first of all, you're way bigger than I thought you were, Nonito. But then
how tall did you think he was, Fanon? Martin, sorry. How tall did you think he was?
I didn't really have a height, because I remember you fought at the same weight class as Juan Diaz. I mean, not Juan Diaz. What's the guy's name? Yeah, was it Juan Diaz? There was the bull pit bull.
Juarez.
Rocky Juarez.
Rocky Juarez. Yeah.
Didn't Rocky Juarez fight at like 118, 122?
126.
That dude is way littler than you.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy because at the amateurs, because I went to the same 2000 with them, with Baby Bull and him too, Rocky Juarez. But yeah, they were shorter than me. They're way shorter than me.
Man, Rocky Juarez, I shook Rocky Juarez's hand, and I'm telling you, his hand could have fit in my fingers. Like, but you got a full size hand. Like, when I shook first of all, you did something that boxers usually don't do. You actually shook my hand. Like, you shook my hand. Nonito.
Yeah, no, I like. Yeah, no, that's the thing. Why I think my hand kind of felt like it's bigger, because I it's positioning, man. You got to position it right, bro.
Oh yeah. That's what you told me. You said you positioned your hand so I couldn't squeeze your fingers. I've shook in Errol Spence Jr.'s hand. First of all, your hand ain't much smaller than Errol's is. Not much, if it is at all. But it was like most boxers whose hands I've shook really don't have any, like, I thought their hands were fragile. Like they feel like like you guys must not make fists when you punch. Like, I was like, it was not a firm handshake, where your handshake was fully firm, but you positioned your hand the way to where you got your hand all the way in there, and I couldn't put any pressure on your fingers. so I didn't hurt your fingers. So I know that with most boxers, that you just give them a pound. You
The
just,
the knuckle. You know, they try to do all that stuff to try to protect their hand, because with the knuckles, when you do the knuckles, and sometimes when they get the knuckles, I usually just open my hand to just kind of like a mitt thing with them, you know. But when I do shake people's hand, like I look at, you know, it's old school for me, man. I look at them in the eyes. I make sure that my hand is positioned where the thumb is, you know, and then no matter how hard they squeeze, they ain't gonna hurt me.
yeah, it was clear because I was like, that's a very, because you big. But in other dudes that see, that's like, I'm going to say it this way. It's it's like the opposite of a bitch move, because there's other people that like, and I won't say who it is, but there's somebody else, dude. And I never trust these dudes. They aim for your fingers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
trust me, I've had those people, man. I've had those people, and you know, that's why I gotta always protect myself. I mean, I've shook hands with so many people, man, and you know, and people that are just want to hurt you, and people that just want to look into your eyes and try to say something, you know. But for me, I've always positioned myself where you ain't gonna hurt me. You can squeeze as hard as you want, but you ain't gonna hurt
you
me.
told me, and I got very strong hands, and and
Mm-hmm.
I don't have big hands. I have huge hands. So when I shook your hand, I was like, okay, wow, because you really did get your hand. I don't have hands like Shaq. Now I shook Shaq. I couldn't even shake his Shaq hand. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's with him, it's hard to get your finger all the way around his hand. Like, his hands are
Yeah.
really that big. But yeah,
Yeah.
man, it was very, it was, and it's a respect that you get from people when they do that. Real quick, Matthew Thomas said, Donaire's just gave you a look into how to read a boxer. Also, they tell you how to work good, bad, or indifference. Thanks for the education. Boxing needs your kind. Absolutely. And when they start managing fighters and they start actually like promoting fighters through their career, you guys should definitely look up Nonito and Rachel, because I know that's going to be it eventually, something you guys wind up doing when you're not fighting full time anymore, is actually
Well,
guiding people's career, because you guys
yeah.
probably would have the assets and what's necessary and out clearly the knowledge and all that able to do it. And I've also heard just out of your mouth, the way that you look at it, that you like training. Something you
I
get from your
love training, man. I love
something you get.
training. That's the
Hey,
thing.
watch this.
That's
I'm gonna start some shit. Something you get from your dad, right?
nah. I think. Well, I did actually. I did get it from my dad, because he always tell me. He always told me to teach yourself. Look at fights and teach yourself. You know, because he always said that I can teach you this much, but you know, you got to look at for yourself to teach yourself and see it for yourself, because I don't know how I can teach you without you teaching yourself to understand what I'm teaching you, you know. And that's what I'm teaching all these guys
Well,
out
like
here.
we went to, so we're at a different island than Manila. And there was a fight that it was called Omega, and we all went. Casimiro went, a former world champion Donietes went, and these guys fought. And come Monday, that was Saturday. Come Monday, we were like, well, whoever wants to show up, show up, and we'll take our time with them. And they all freaking showed up. And like, what gives me goosebumps about these kids, I'm gonna call them kids, you're looking at 20 to maybe 24, 26 at the most, is the fact that they're hungry. And they're hungry, yes, for the sport, they're hungry to win, but they also don't have a choice. They have to win or they don't eat.
Yeah.
So they show up. Like, it's a different
Different
breed.
mind, it's a different mentality. But the thing too is that when they get out of the island, the Philippines, they don't have the courage, because they always felt inferior because of the way they were brought up. And so that's why I'm bringing the mentality that we are all men, human. When you're inside that ring, no one is better than you except for the people or person that train harder than you. You know, and that's what I always give example to everybody. It's just when I go in there and I always teach them, it's like, it's not, no one's better than you. You know, if you're gonna let yourself beat you, you already lost the fight. If you're already doubting yourself, get inside the ring because this guy is this guy is a foreigner or whatever, you already lost. You know, so that's why what I'm doing right now in the Philippines is teaching them how to be mentally strong.
That makes a lot of sense. And just Ray Davis has a question for you, Nonito and Rachel. How does Nonito see Fulton versus Inoue?
Well, that's the thing is that with in the Phillies, the way
In the
they
Phillies?
fight,
In the
huh?
Phillies.
Yeah, Phillies,
Oh, in the
Philippines.
Phillies, like
Yeah,
Philadelphia?
yeah, in Philadelphia,
No, oh, let me say in Philly. It's just in
yeah, in
Philly.
Philly. I know. I was
But
thinking
just say in
Philadelphia,
the
Philippines,
Philippines
and
and in Philly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Close.
It's
Philly,
yeah,
in
Philly.
Philly.
Philly, Philippines. No, but in Philadelphia, they have great skills. They have great skills. One thing that they have that I see a lot is the catch and shoot. The catch and shoot. Now I think if he masters the catch and shoot with Inoue, Inoue can't do nothing about that because Inoue is anybody who has power, including myself and Canelo, we have a lag when we are blocked. When our punches are blocked, we have a lag to go back into the defense. And that's why, in the first fight, if you look at the first fight with me and Inoue, I was catching him with the catch and shoot every single time. And then if Fulton comes up with that, with high defense and catch and shoot every single time or not get touched and then come back with the counter, I think he's gonna do really good. I think he's gonna do really, really good.
I wonder though, with like the reset of the timing, right? Like, because you have to look at the fact that boxers, what people don't understand is boxers peak. So when you're counting down the weeks towards when you're supposed to fight, you peak at a certain time. Some boxers do it 2 weeks before their fight. They hit a 12 rounder. Some boxers like Nonito do it right like the Saturday before their fight. And within that time frame, what they've already worked up to, they have to reset, right? So for the fight to be reset to a later date, you also don't want Fulton to be overtrained because
Well,
it'll work
the
against
thing
him.
about this is when you go all out and it stops, your mental goes into a I guess you're mentally like on a cloud, or you just kind of floating, you know, and that's the thing you don't want to get to is because when you're training and nothing happens because of some type of postponement and stuff like that, you're kind of floating like, man, I lost weight, man, I trained hard, I was ready for this. So I hope that he gets himself back into it, but not to a certain, take a time off, take time off, get your mind right, and then get back into it. Not continue and continue and continue to push and push and push because the body is only overtrained when the mind is overtrained. People don't understand that.
Say that again. The body can overtrain when the mind is overtrained.
So the body is overtrained when the mind is overtrained. So when people train hard, like I can train like crazy, right? And then mentally, I'm good, I'm ready to go. But if I'm mentally drained, my body is not going to function the way I want it to be. So it's all about the mentality. When the mentality is good, the body works along with it. We are only as good as as our mind is good at. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like if our mind is good and mentally ready, guess what? You're gonna be mentally ready. If our body is good and then your mind is not, guess what? You're not gonna be ready. That's how powerful our mind is when we direct and focus on the mentality rather than the physiology or physicality. God damn it,
No,
physicality.
you got a physiology. We worry you when you're worried more, your mind controls your body. So, but
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
if you're like in tennis, if you are not in really good shape, and you will fatigue your body, it works both ways. If your mind will fatigue if your body's not in shape, but your body will fatigue if your mind is not rested and sharp,
right.
ready to
Yes.
go.
Exactly. Because the body is always willing to work hard, especially for fighters, right? For me, it's a given for me to just train hard without with I just go out there and push myself every single time, every day. But I have my mind has to tell me that, yo, you gotta chill. Heal up. You train 3 good days. Tomorrow, get some rest, and then come back tomorrow, the next day, strong.
Yeah, don't think about it. Like a lot of the times during fight week, we're like, okay, like Nonito will come out of the blue and be like, let's go walk in the mall. Let's go watch a movie. Let's go do something. Because if you're
Right.
constantly like your brain gets tired of trying to analyze the fight that hasn't happened yet. it's not going to be fresh. It's going to be exhausted. Like,
Right.
and so
And the thing too is that the mindset of a fighter is I gotta push, I gotta push, I gotta push because I gotta train hard. Nope, you gotta get the confidence. Just be confident. When you get 2 to 3 days to 4 days of intense training, that's all you need. You don't need to train every single day. Just have a good time, make sure your mind is good, and when you go back into it, you're fresh. And that's why the way I train people, I give them good Monday, good Tuesday, relax Wednesday, off on Thursday, and all out Friday. And then Saturday, strength and conditioning, and then Sunday go rest. It's always like that. You got to have time to rest because it's like life. You got to have the duality of training your ass off and then resting your ass off. You know what I'm saying? You got to have both ways because you can't function without the other.
Yeah,
wait, can I have a disclaimer, Martin?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And now watch the way you just said my name. Now you said my name like you're my friend because you said Martin.
I am your friend because as much as you're saying I did say that you eat a lot, I did feed you.
You did.
Okay. I did. I preempted that you were hungry and I made sure that you had food. Okay. So I'm just disclaiming. No,
you guys tried to give me diabetes with that one big ass drink place we had though.
No, you
ordered
that thing. Okay, I had a beer. That's it. I had a beer. That's what I had. It was a beer.
I ordered it, but I didn't drink that shit.
No, you did not. You did not. That was good.
I made sure at the end of the night that you were fed and that you went home with food in your stomach.
Yeah.
Fantastic job. Hey, real quick, Justin said, salute Fanon, salute Rachel and Nonito, everybody in the chat. Love the content always, Fanon. Just sending this your way. Thank you, brother. It is greatly appreciated. I can talk, but I'm much more of a listener, and I love listening to the knowledge on the channel. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Justin Hawkins. Much love in that super chat.
Hey, Justin, guess what, man? That skill right there, every man need to know and understand to have a great relationship.
To listen? Yeah.
To listen.
Yeah.
Oh no, me and her just got into it just a couple hours ago, and I get offended. I get so offended and then get so defensive right away instead of just listening. If I had listened right from the get-go, there wouldn't be no argument, man.
It was super easy too. Like he goes, he's like, he said something about dessert. I'm like, yeah, okay. When we're done, he gets up. The bill's not paid yet. And I'm looking, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, you said to go and look for food. I was like, I didn't fucking say shit. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what are you wanting to hear?
Hey,
go get dessert.
I wanted some dessert, okay? I wanted some dessert, goddammit. That's all I wanted to do was get some dessert. I had great food and I want some dessert. That's it.
Yeah, that's wild stuff. Hey, so let me ask you a question now, though. But there was something that was on my mind, man, about Shakur Stevenson. So if you were, what do you think about Shakur Stevenson versus Devin Haney as a fight?
That's a good fight. I mean, you saw the sparring. I mean, you saw the sparring between the two of them, and it was very competitive. Shakur is a very intelligent, very stylistically and skillful fighter. And I think he in terms of skills, I think Shakur beats everybody in terms of like skills. But not including power and in heart, of course. But
with Devin?
Haney, he has good reach, he has good distance, and I think that it's a good chess match. That's a good chess match because no matter how skillful Shakur is, Devin's distance is going to give him a hard time, throwing in a jab and stepping out and throwing that straight to set up. Because one thing that Shakur does is he just waits for you to come in because everybody can't reach him. And we know Haney's not going to be coming in. He's going to be stepping in with the jab and stepping out with the straight, stepping up with the jab, and all of that stuff. So I think it's going to be a hell of a chess match between the two.
And what about real quick, man. Let me get Tony. Hey, thank you for the $1 holler, brother. Thank you for that support, brother, in the Cash App. Thank you, Tony. Lakeside Show, Tony. I met that
Tony.
You remember that dude was real. What's that guy's name, man? Raphael Sadiq. Yeah, I met Raphael Sadiq. I had a drinks with Raphael Sadiq one time. He was a very, very nice guy, man. And my guy Upper Echelon says Shalom Fanon and Nito and Rachel, Nonito and Rachel, salute my friends. Thank you, man, for that $2 holler.
Yeah,
thank you, bro. Thank you, man. So what do you think happens with? I'm gonna give you the round robin on it though. So what about Shakur and Gervonta?
I think Shakur box the shit out of Gervonta. I think he's gonna be moving around him a lot, and it's gonna be harder for. The thing is, the difference is with a lot of fighters is Shakur moves his leg, along with his jabs and speed. He moves out. He moves lateral movement. You know, I think that if Tank can land a good punch, he can knock him out. You know, we've never seen Shakur get caught with a big punch, and I don't think his physical can take punches like Tank's punches. You know, but he can box, and he's not gonna get caught with that stuff. He's more of a person like Floyd, where you can be bored all you want. I'm gonna win this fight by throwing my jab, and I think that's just how it's gonna be with Shakur.
And then Gervonta and Devin. And Rise Podcast, you know the Ride Podcast is Gervonta Davis's camp, just so you know.
Oh yeah, I know. And another one.
yeah.
No, that's their fault. That like the boys, when Nonito was on the Rise, the boys put it on the Google TV in the living room, and so now they keep going around Smoothie King.
Yeah.
And another right back at you.
Yeah. I'm like, what? Yeah,
Nah,
I'm saying that now.
Just so you know the Rise. Then the Rise, I think, says the same thing about, but their thing is that, and this is what I think. I think that Gervonta is a very, very underrated fighter. And there's also, I mean, as far as boxing, and there's one thing, I just did a video yesterday. Do you know what his arm reach is relative to, and you can explain to me what this means, but what do you think his arm length is relative? What do you think the importance of arm length is in a fight?
Well, so example, if you are a short person and you have a great length in your arms, you're a great advantage, because people don't see that. They think that you're this person in your height, but you have a longer reach. Like an example would be Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux had great length in his arms. It's almost as taller or longer than my arms. So he can reach a lot of people from the distance and move away from it. But at the same time, you know, if I don't know his reaches, if he has a shorter reach, you know, then it would be he would be in this defensive stance when it comes down to taller and faster athletes or fighters.
Yeah, and that's what the thing that hit me funny, because yesterday Gervonta said something about Ryan Garcia, where he's like, they were like, "What are you going to do with Ryan's reach?" And he said, "Man, his reach is not that much longer than mine." And so I looked at the numbers, and it was Ryan Garcia. And I know some of this BoxRec stuff is not accurate, right?
Right.
So I got to put a disclaimer on that.
A lot of them like 5'6", but they're like 5'2".
yeah, something like that. But the reach that was listed is that Gervonta has 67.5-inch reach, and Ryan Garcia has a 70-inch reach. Ryan Garcia listed at 5'10", and Errol Spence Jr., who's listed at 5'9.5". Errol's has 3 inches more, 3 inches longer reach at 1 inch shorter than Ryan Garcia does. And Terence Crawford has listed at a 74-inch reach at 5'9".
See, but that's the thing, is some people got longer fingers, right? Like for me, I got 69.
They do your fingers?
They do your fingers. Not sometimes they do their knuckles, but sometimes they do the fingers. You know, so like they would say
fingers, I know.
They would say 60. There's times that I'm like 67, but that's through the knuckles, and then they do the fingers. I'm like 69. You know what I mean? So a lot of it gets changed because of the way sometimes they go from the other finger to the other finger, or they just do one finger to the shoulder. You know what I'm saying?
Like, so BoxRec doesn't, like, because it's a private entity, there is no like established, like, hey, this is a verified, like, this is our system, this is our metrics, and that's how we're supposed to do. Yeah, there's no standard. Really.
You hear that, Rick
like,
Timms? You hear that, Rick Timms? That's for Rick Timms. You hear that, Rick Timms?
Oh, was that from Rick Tim?
No, I'm just saying. People go to BoxRec, and he always talking about, like, basically what I said about BoxRec is you gotta, anything they say about ranking fighters, you gotta throw that in the garbage. Because
No, but I mean, like, even the guys that they're like, you know, they're like, oh, like, when we were looking at fighters and stuff like that, I'm not gonna name the fighter, but there's like 2 little fighters that were playing around over at the WBA convention, and we're like, so how tall are you? And he's like, what did he say?
I'm 5'6".
Yeah, he said 5'6". I'm like, bitch, you're not 5'6".
You're 5'1". You know what I'm saying?
You know, like,
yeah. No, I'm like, I told him, like, bro, I'm 5'6", 5'7". Your ass is like on my fucking chin. You're fucking 5 feet tall, man. So shut the fuck up. You know, excuse my French here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but that's what I'm saying. It's just like they're gonna say this, and sometimes these people don't check. They're like, okay, I'll take your word for it.
well, it's BoxRec is almost like a Wikipedia. Like, honestly, Martin, if you didn't know this, like, I can go in as a manager because I have, you know, manager rights, and I can change certain things on BoxRec.
Yeah, that makes that's it. Yeah, because a bunch of people are able to do it.
Right.
But the thing that I say about BoxRec, and why the thing that I won't pay any attention to with BoxRec is when they rank fighters, because because the way that they rank them is just, it's ridiculous. Because you'll notice, like if you fight Nonito, right? Just say somebody that fights Nonito and loses to Nonito and I don't care who it is. Nonito could get in there with somebody that doesn't belong in the ring with him at all, right? When Nonito knocks him out in the first round, his ranking goes up because Nonito has fought Rigondeaux. Nonito has fought Monster Inoue. Because of all the people, you get credit for everybody that you fight. So it doesn't matter whether or not you had any chance or what your skill level was. You just go up just because you fought him. So that's why you see guys that are ranked it's the number one 168 pounder in the world will be somebody like Calvin, or the number 2 guy will be Callum Smith, because Callum Smith got knocked out by Canelo, but David Morrell didn't fight Canelo. But so they will have Callum Smith or somebody like Yildirim ranked ahead of David Morrell because of that.
Right.
So it just or say there's and they take like layoffs into it. So say you don't fight, say you get injured and you take a year off. Well, your ranking is going to go down. And then another guy is active, but he's actively losing against guys like that little circle jerk they had going on over there. Excuse my French, over there in Matchroom, where what's that guy's name, man? The guy that just knocked out Tony Yoka. Carlos Takam. Carlos Takam fought him. He fought because he lost to Joseph Parker. He lost to Dillian White. He lost to Anthony Joshua. And because Anthony Joshua beat Vladimir Klitschko, Carlos Takam's ranking is actually higher than Jared Anderson's is. So that's what I'm saying. You just can't. That's why I don't put any faith into their ranking. And plus, you really fight top 10 people in the sanctioning body that you fight in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you say somebody's never beaten a top 10 opponent, a top 10 opponent with who? A champion fighting a top 10 opponent in the what's going on to Chicken Talk? Definitely. You ever been on Chicken Talk, Nonito?
No, not yet.
No, not yet, man.
You gotta hook up with Lefty, man. That's the man, dude. They got a great conversation that goes on there. And,
I heard.
Yeah, he's the king of they're the king of Twitter, man. Him and Ray Jackson with the breaking news. Anyway, but yeah, man. So yeah, that's kind of one. I kind of forgot where we were after I went off that though. Is there anything y'all want to talk about? Because I just had to shit on BoxRec real quick. I can't
No,
stand.
but that's true though, man. You know, it's different with the BoxRec the way they rank people. You know, comparing to because it doesn't really matter how much you rank people because it's not what they're fighting for. Like say the WBC had me number one, but then on the WBO I'm like number WBA number two or whatever. Is different because we're trying to get to a top level to fight for the belt
within the
sanctioning body because that's pretty much where the importance is because you're fighting for the belt. You know, you can be number one all you want in box rec, but you're not ranked high enough in the WBC or the sanctioning body or WBA or WBO or IBF or whatever, and they won't get you a title fight. You know what I'm saying?
Like you could be lower ranking in the different and the bantamweight division is amazing if anybody wants to go and do their homework. Like follow someone's name throughout the rankings and in the different organizations, and they're all different. And it's because of the fact, I would like to think, that when a manager or promoter sets you up with a match, they say, hey, I'm number 5, I want to fight number 3, or I'm number 10 and I want to fight number 7. And if I win this fight and you approve it, then that means we switch spots. I replace his position. But your position might be different in a different sanctioning body, so it won't come into play. Like if that fighter that's number 5 is lower in the rankings, it's not going to help you at all. So it really has to depend on what you're moving within the sanctioning bodies that you are trying to win the belt at.
Now, in a case of Tank and Ryan, you know, it's their popularity. they don't really care too much about all of that stuff, you know.
No, yeah, it's a popularity fight. Like there's no belt on the line, so I mean, like it's not even a contention. It's not going to rank each fighter higher because it's not sanctioned by any sanctioning body at all. So it's not supposed to move the goalposts for either one of them, but possibly BoxRec might do that because of the quality of the opponent, right? If Ryan supersedes Tank on that night, they might look at it as like, okay, quality of opponent, he should be ranked higher. Whether or not he should be based on the factors that are, you know, for example, the weight division, the 136. Technically, you shouldn't, when you're doing a catch weight, you shouldn't be over the weight division. So it's not supposed to be over 135 if it's going to be challenging for Tank's belt. You know, all these things come into play, but with BoxRec, it's a computation.
Yeah.
Yeah, algorithm. It's absolutely terrible. So what is who would you fight if you were Gervonta Davis? I'm putting you on the spot, Rise. If you were Gervonta Davis and you beat Ryan Garcia, what move would you make next?
Now with me.
Oh, is Rise asking us or is he putting Rise on the spot?
No, now with me is like if I am to fight anybody, like you know me, you know, I would go with the best fighter, you know. I would go with the guy who had all the belts, right? And I would go with Haney. Now, whoever comes after that would be Shakur. I would be that would be me because that's the type of fighter that I am. You know, regardless of the fee and all that stuff, that's just how I am as a person. You know, as a fighter, I want to test myself, go beyond my limits. But I would go take that damn belt, all the fucking belts. That would be mine. You know, I would call that belts, and then whoever comes after that, bring them all.
Now, Rachel, if you were Gervonta Davis, I got it on both sides here, Rise. You better believe it. If you were Gervonta Davis, what would you give Devin Haney to fight Gervonta Davis? Knowing the money, knowing that he came off of a $20 million gate, knowing the number that Devin Haney is selling 2,600 tickets in his hometown. What split would you give him? What type of situation would you fight him under?
I mean, no, if we can confirm every single thing that you're saying, the pay-per-view numbers and the gate.
I'll give you a hypothetical.
Okay.
Hypothetical. Gervonta Davis does, because we already know it's over 14 million. The gate is well over 14 million. Already know that because of the $1,000 nosebleed seats and the fact that they sold 20,000 of them. So we'll just go conservatively with an $18 million gate.
$18 million gate.
$18 million gate, and say you do 800,000 pay-per-views at $80 a pop. So you're pretty much looking somewhere around a $100 million fight. And Gervonta Davis is the driving factor behind it. And Devin Haney on his pay-per-views does 100,000 pay-per-views. And he does a gate of $1 million.
Okay, we're going to do a whole mathematical equation. Hold on real quick. I'm getting my notebook out because we're taking this seriously. Hold on.
And just so you know, those are fair numbers, and I'm giving him $1 million gate. Seeing as Jose Ramirez versus Richard Comey versus Comey just did 360,000. I'm waiting till you do your math.
No. So what? Okay, wait. No, I just got my paper out. Okay, so you're saying that Davis pulled what on the gate?
Give him $18 million gate.
Okay, and then what was the pay-per-view numbers?
We're going to give him 800,000 pay-per-views at $85 a pay-per-view. And then you're going to also give him, you can tell me the sponsorship. You name a sponsorship number for the Tecate in the center of the ring, the ads on the corner of the ring, all of those type of things. Give me, and you would know better than me based off your experience, what the sponsorship would be on top of that.
Am I Devin's corner or am I Davis's corner?
You're David. You are representing. You are officially Al Heyman in this. So scenario.
I'm Davis. Okay.
You are Gervonta Davis.
And then give me Devin's numbers last.
Devin versus Vasily Lomachenko. Mm-hmm. Now I got to remember Vasily Lomachenko and Devin Haney. Their numbers. Mm-hmm. Vasily Lomachenko has bigger numbers than he does. As far as their tickets they've sold to date, their viewership on television, other than the belts, Devin Haney would be the B-side on this. Other than the belts, but he does have the belts. But other than the belts, and I can tell you that based off the numbers that were done on ESPN, because when Teofimo Lopez fought Vasily Lomachenko, their viewership averaged at like over 2 million a view. In the last fight with Devin and Kambosos, it was 960,000, something 950,000, right? So Vasily Lomachenko in his big fights have done twice the viewership, and the ticket sales I really can't say much about because they really don't, publicize those much. But I suspect that, he'd sell somewhere around 4,000 tickets while Devin sold, according to according to Leonard Ellerby, 2,600 tickets. But anyway, for the fight that's coming up, let's say that it does 150,000. Let's say it does 150,000 pay-per-views, which I think might be generous. 150,000 pay-per-views, and the gate is what is it? 15? Say they sell 15,000 tickets. Well, just give them a gate of like $1.5 million. Gate.
So 1.5 versus Davis's 18.
Right.
Okay, and what's the pay-per-view at?
The pay-per-view is 150,000 times 50 times 60. They think they're selling it at $59.99. I think. Somebody can correct me. I think it's $59.99. Okay, so just say 60. Yeah, just say 60 versus 84 or 85. Excuse me.
Okay. I'm gonna give you the no needle for 2 minutes while I work this out.
She is calculating. That's it, man.
Yeah, because this is the perfect scenario. You have the fighter, and then you have the manager. So obviously, Nonito, are you going to take a fight that your manager says do not take it if they offer you less than this? Are you going to change her mind?
Well, the thing about it is with me, I'm going to fight whatever, but I hired or I have a manager for that particular reason. If she says they're taking advantage of you, I'm like, man, fuck that shit, man. You know what? Do what you need to do. You know what I mean? And that's why sometimes I feel that fights don't happen is because of the fact that the managers and advisors are advising the fighters wrong. You know what I mean? So for me, if because like that's her job, right? And then managers, promoters, they got their own jobs. For me, it's like, okay, well, I want to make the fight. They gave me 2 million. I'm like, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. But then my manager says, you know what? You deserve 5. You deserve 5. No, they're just messing with you, you know. And I'm like, really? Okay. How much should I get? You should get 5. I'm like, okay, I'll get 5. And so that's how fights don't get made because of managers and all the other stuff. Because fighters will fight. We are convinced that we deserve better. And you know you're the champion, so you should fight for this fight. This, you know, they're taking advantage of you. You know, and so you shouldn't be fighting. And I'm like, okay, well, I do want to make the fight happen. You know, get the fight happen. Well, you know what? In order for the fight to happen, we want to make it fair. You know, and you deserve at least 5 million, not 2 million. I'm like, okay, that's up to you. You know, that's that. You know what I'm saying?
But you do know
You know what I'm saying? So,
you know the difference between 2 and 5 million, right?
yeah, a lot. You know, but as a fighter, you know, I'm like, I'm good with 2 million. You know what I'm saying? I'm good
Man.
with 2 million because I could have made it worse with like the Inoue fight or whatever. I could have said, you know what? Give me 5 million instead. You know, and give me 5 million instead of 2 million, man. Give me 5 million instead.
Jesus Christ,
You
man.
know.
Yeah, but 2
So,
and 5. The difference between 2 and 5 million is $3 million. That is a
mhm.
shit. That is, I mean, you know, that's a shitload of money, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but see the thing about it that don't people. This is how I look at life. You gave me 2 million instead of 5 million, but I beat your ass, and now I'm worth 10 million. Right?
True.
That's how
True.
I look at life. This is how I always look at life. It's like, oh, I'm getting this opportunity. They pay me good. I'm gonna fight for it.
All
You
right,
know, and then
so
I'm gonna beat you.
got you.
That's how my mentality works.
I like
Like
that
I'm not
because
all
that's
about
fighter's mentality.
right. So in this instance, if we say the Crawford, you know, Crawford and Spence fight, they're both getting paid 10, right? But I wanted 15. You know, doesn't matter who I'm talking about. I wanted 15. You know, so the fight don't happen. Guess what? If you're 10-10 and you beat the other guy because you're confident to beat the other guy, and then the next fight is what 25 million. This is what boxing is all about. It's getting to the next level so that you know, like I said, when for me as a fighter, I don't look at the money. I look at the legacy because along with the legacy, money comes along with it. That's just how I've always looked at fight. That's how I've always looked at. That's why I'm always fighting everybody. But you know, some people are convinced by their advisor, by their managers, that they should take it this way, and we should not. You shouldn't step back, or you shouldn't take this fight because they're giving you less. You know, so you know, everybody's different, man, and the generation in itself is so much different than 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Different mindset.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll wait for her to do the calculation. See, for me, I would say like because I think there's different scenarios. Like first, if you're in a scenario where you've already earned it. So like for Arrow, for example, Arrow could look at it. I'm not saying that he is looking at it. Arrow and Gervonta could look at it from this point of view and say, like, for example, you go over to Monster Inoue, right, in Japan. Monster Inoue is the big attraction in Japan, right? So if you go and you fight, if you go fight Monster Inoue and you beat Monster Inoue, then you are, you know, that is exactly what is going to happen. Is you it becomes huge. Because similar to the way it happened when you did him dirty in the first fight, right? You fought him in the first fight. You busted his. I think you exposed him. I ain't gonna lie, dude. I think you exposed that dude. That was me. Because I was like, and this is no offense to you. I was like, if he would have fought Donaire 10 years ago, his ass would have been asleep. Like,
different story. Yeah, that's a
yeah,
different story.
yeah, he'd be
Different,
sleeping.
because it was a different mindset. It's a different mindset. And the thing about it is, it's not so much that we're getting old. It's just that we have a different mindset. And it's not as the hunger mindset anymore. You're not fighting for your life anymore. Because you've established yourself to a point that life is about be, getting that fulfillment and fun and whatever that you need in life. Back in the days, it was always the grind. It was always the grind. It was always a fight. It was always winning. There was no substitute to winning. There was no other ways.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's just the way that I saw it. Like, I was like, nah. First of all, you pointed it out with that catch and shoot. Because, and when you're an athlete, obviously, a world-class Hall of Fame level athlete. And I've never been that. Like, but as you grow, you understand more about what's going on. You can see more things as they take place. When you're a little bit younger, you have, you got a little bit more explosiveness in you, just because the aging factor period. Just, at a certain point in time, your body's not putting out the same stuff. I'm
Well, I
50,
mean,
so
the
I can
body,
see
the body, the body itself is especially for myself, because I keep myself in shape.
yeah,
It's
you
just
do.
the mindset is very forgiving. Because when like when you have, I guess, when you say your parents were so hard on you, but then they're so easy on your grandkids or their grandkids. You know what I'm saying? There's just so much more ways. The way we grow up is just the mindset is more forgiving. The mindset is more patient. The mindset is more grateful. At least when you have what you set out to do,
You're not a
you
savage no
accomplish
more.
it. Yeah. So you're not in a grind anymore. You're not dying anymore. You're not. If you fail, you ain't gonna die. You ain't gonna step back where you lose everything. You came to a point where you set yourself up, that you establish yourself. You establish that there is no longer that do or die mentality, or that mindset of a desperation.
Yeah. I kind of don't want to ask Nonito that question, Ray Davis. But I mean, Nonito, is Snack being tied to Balco feels suspicious? I think all these dudes, I look at cats and just be looking how they fighting. It's suspicious to me. Like I don't buy some of this stuff, man. I don't buy these. I don't buy these never-ending machines. Like somebody your size or somebody smaller having a ton of energy like that for 12 rounds, that makes sense to me because it's just a lot less body to move. But
Yeah.
at but at some guys that are like I remember when Jarrell, and I don't want to put Nonito in a situation where he says something about somebody that he's close. And also, I don't want you to answer the question about Balco or Snack because
I mean, I will if I have to, man. You see me,
I
you've
mean,
known
you
me,
want
Martin.
to,
You know me. I've always been honest. And I will
man,
speak
yes,
on it.
you
And
can be honest and be silent at the same time and not get yourself in no drama amongst people that you know. But if you feel like answering the question, answer the question. But again, I will, in anybody that I talk to, man, I'm going to say, look, man, if there's something that I ask you or somebody wants to ask and you really feel like there's any chance that it's going to have blowback for you, it's just not worth answering the question. You know what I mean? Just not worth it because I know, you know what I mean?
No, I hear you. I hear you. But the thing about me is I've established myself enough that I've always stood on my own integrity. That's
Fair
something that I
enough. Yeah.
have for myself, is my integrity. And I, whatever I say, whatever I do is because I meant what I said, and I knew, and I know exactly what I was talking about. I'm not making bullshit up or anything like that. And if I need to speak on it, I will speak on it. You know what I mean? It's because that's just I've always been. I've always been that type of person that whatever comes out of me is what I know and what I've experienced, and no one can ever take that away from me.
Fair enough. So
Oh, she said she's done. She
I'll just
said
give
she's
a
done.
problem. What do you say?
I'm
She said
done.
she's done.
Okay, real
Okay.
quick. John Boy said, I'm driving, but don't. John Boy said, I'm driving. Don't answer, please. Yeah, we're not going to let him answer that question, man. We're not getting nobody in no trouble over here.
I guess I finished my equations early. So I would walk into that basically, and I'm only going to do it based on pay per view and not even gate. So based on this, I'd walk into that at 60-40. I'd push it at 60-40 and see how they act, right? I would ask for a $5 million guarantee on a 60-40 split on the pay-per-view. Again, pay-per-view alone, because that's the only the only numbers I can actually work with that's stable. 60-40, and we're going to assume that they're going to do $1 million pay-per-view, okay? Based on
$1 million pay-per-view?
No, million views on pay-per-view at $75.
For who? Who are you representing in
For this fight.
Both sides.
No, wait, I'm Devin at this point.
No, you're not Devin, because I'm telling you no. With
I'm
that
Davis?
shit. You're Davis. Yes, you're Gervonta Davis. Not,
All right,
yeah.
back to
64. Hell no, because I'm like, what? Yeah, well, go ahead, man. Go ahead, because I was going to say, you got to get your man. No, you're Gervonta Davis. Because I asked, remember the questions I asked?
That's too easy, though.
If you are, no, it's not easy. I got to be fair. I got to be fair. I asked Nonito, if you're Gervonta, who do you want to fight next? So I got to ask you, if you're Gervonta's manager, who do you want to fight next? I mean, what would you need to get it done? Like, what would you say? Nah, this is what this fight is worth for me, considering what you know about the opponent, considering he's got 4 belts that your fighter don't care about, because he's like, I don't care about the belts, it's on him. What would you, if you were Gervonta Davis, what would you offer him?
I would offer him an 80-20. Because I know we're gonna be walked down. I'd be okay with a 70-30. Because like it's and I would have to put in a ceiling cap, right? My ceiling cap has to be lower, my threshold has to be lower than Devin Haney's ceiling cap. He has to be able to sell at this point.
You gotta explain a ceiling cap.
Okay, so usually a pay-per-view
ceiling and cap are the same. Ceiling
cap.
cap.
Yeah, the threshold. So basically, like, a lot of people talk about, like, oh, they're going to get pay-per-view, and they think that they're going to get pay-per-view off the gate, like right as the first pay-per-view is sold. That's not necessarily the case. It's most of the time the powers that be, the ones that are the investors, whether it's the TV that says, hey, we're going to give you a $5 million guarantee, but you have to hit a 200,000 threshold before we start giving you $1. So on the 200,001 pay-per-view that's sold, then you'll get your 30-70. So, I mean, if I'm Davis and I'm pulling those kind of numbers, I'm going to go into an 80-20 because I know that they're going to fight me on that. But I would also put a higher threshold on Devin Haney due to the fact that his numbers are different. So if his ceiling gate is 150,000 pay-per-views, I would say he would have to, before he even makes his 70-30 or 60-40, whatever, he has to hit 200,000. That's when he starts to make money.
And my threshold will start making money at what? Because you're allocating cost to him.
Correct.
What would be the threshold for? What do you think the threshold would be for Gervonta to get paid? If
there is no guarantee, I'm asking it for 100,000.
At 100,000. So what would the 100,000 be for? The 100,000, would that be the break even? That would be to make the break even for the network. Would you also bring in Showtime into that equation?
Correct. Yes. And considering the numbers I've already proven as Davis, then you understand that guarantee is nothing. It's easy for me to hit that number.
Right. Yeah. Very easy. So you would say that
I'm not asking for a guarantee. Yeah. So I'm as Davis, I'm not asking for a guarantee. I'm good with it. Like, don't give me a guarantee.
You don't want a guarantee in that fight?
Well, I mean, I say no guarantee as I'm not asking for 10 million. Like, anything that's at a lower number is not really something that people even consider when it comes to the basis of the equation. For example, if I was pretending to be Devin Haney, right, which is what I did my mathematical equation on, and I'm sorry, it's 11:30 at night, so I got all my numbers all, my opponents all messed up. But if I was going to do a $5 million guarantee for Devin Haney at 40-60 and 1 million pay-per-view sold at $75 $800,000 is what I'm able to be paid on. That's $24 million plus my $5 million. So if I'm not playing on that field, like I'm talking about, like, again, like big numbers, like we're saying, oh, I need a $10 million guarantee plus an upside, or a $20 million guarantee and an upside. Anything lower than that is just, it's just fluff. Like literally the guarantee is nothing based on the back end. If you understand the thresholds and what you actually can produce. With Davis performing at $800,000 pay-per-view at $85 a pop plus an $18 million gate, you understand, like, okay, like $2 million guarantee, that's not even, like, it's not worth the paper it's written on at that point, because you understand how much more is on the back end.
Oh, so when you're saying if I ask for a $2 million guarantee, you're saying, and that is not something where you're going to get the cats. Okay, see, I'm glad I'm learning from you, because I'm thinking when I hear the guarantee, I think, okay, $2 million is going to be paid to him. Like there's a check that's going to come to him for $2 million. And
Correct.
it is going to come to him before the fight, or is going to come to him like the day after the fight. But what you're saying,
the day of the fight, guarantees have to be given to the fighter the day of the fight with the commission. When it comes to ticket sales and or pay-per-view, that's you're looking at possibly a 90-day process at the most, I would say, and that's being generous, because of the fact that you're talking about people that also have to have refunds because their stream didn't work and blah, 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 blah.
okay. But in the grand scheme of things, as far as the money that you're making, you're saying because of the volume of the note that you know you're going to do, the $2 million really isn't much, because you're going to break that threshold very, very quickly. And you're looking at making, significantly more, 24, 25 million. So the question, so the combination, the conversation you guys are having is this. If you're Gervonta, you say, look, I want, Nonito says, I want the belts. So I want the belts. I want to fight who's best. I personally don't think that anybody knows who's best in that division. That's my opinion. Because if I had to say who I think, I don't know. I don't think, because he only beat George Kambosos. That's why I started the question with Shakur, right? Because if you say, well, who do you think is going to beat you? What do you think? You just picked Shakur to beat Gervonta, right? And he said, but he could knock him out, but that's who you took. Now, I didn't ask you who you would think, who you would win, but then I said, okay, well, who do you think would win between Shakur? I know Rise Podcast said Tank is. Personally, I think it's going to be very tough on Shakur with Tank. That's what I think. And I think it's going to be very tough on Devin with Gervonta. Both of them, I think, is going to be very tough for them. But again, it is what it is. People are going to you'll see it when it happens in the ring. But as far as who's the best in the division, I don't think that Devin has fought the best competition to get those belts. I think because he only beat George Kambosos to get them. And I don't think George Kambosos got a rat's chance in a meat grind.
I mean, that's an item of contention. Everyone says, like, he only... he said, like, everyone talks about that. Like, it's a passing of the belts, right? Like, it's harder to go and combine the belts than it is to just pass the belts along, right? Like, I understand that. It's completely... But you also have to understand Tank's mentality. He doesn't necessarily care about the belts. So if the belts don't mean anything, there's no really monetary value for him, then, we'll go 80-20 and then I might move to 75-25 for you. But at the same time, I'm going to make it harder for you because of the fact that you're telling me that you only do a $1.5 million gate and 150,000 pay-per-views. I'm not just doubling the amount that I'm bringing to the table. I'm tripling, quadrupling 5 times over. So at that rate, considering that I'm putting you in front of the crowd that is willing to support me, you have to buy in with your sweat equity and say, hey, well, okay, I'm willing to take this on the chin at a higher rate, because this is not the crowd that supports me.
Hold on, pause a second. I got to give you guys what she just said. She said you have to buy in with your sweat equity. Let me tell you what sweat equity is. Sweat equity is you don't bring no money here. All you doing is showing up and throwing punches. That's what she means by sweat equity. Sweat equity is like if you're a politician and you have somebody handing out flyers, that yeah, you're a part of the team, but the only real ownership that you get into it is the physical labor that you're doing. So wow, and that is what that's what I'm saying. So now watch this. This is the last little part of this. Okay, because and again, here's the last little part of this. When you say that now that you know what the money, you know what the money is. What would you project to be how much money Devin Haney actually earns in the fight? Because I'm going to give you the numbers, if you don't mind, if it's not too late. Then because you already got clearly know you got your formula. Now let's just assume that Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia, and that we know we do a cost benefit. What is it? Not a cost benefit analysis, a profit and loss projection.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Jones, shut up and listen, bro. And when is Tank done 800K? I hope Ryan's shit does well. Man, be quiet. I'm not Anthony Jones. Be quiet. I'm muting you out. Okay, grown folk are talking. Be quiet. Anyway, so let's just assume that they do 800,000, and the reason I'm using the 800,000, dummy, is because that's around the number that Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder did, and what Canelo Alvarez did against Caleb Plant. Since those were right around 800,000, this fight to me feels just as big. So I'm going to give them that number, 800,000. Not $1 million, which it could happen, dummy. Not 400,000, which is what Manny Pacquiao did against Keith Thurman. We're going to go 800,000 because that's the ballpark of these other big pay-per-views that have taken place within the last 2 years, dumbass. Now, with that to the side, let grown folk get back to talking. Now that we have that, let's assume that the pay-per-view with Devin Haney, because Devin Haney doesn't have that fan base that Ryan Garcia has, that the actual profit and loss projection for the fight is 450,000 pay-per-views. 450,000 pay-per-views. Oh, no, I'm not even going to do that. 400,000 pay-per-views and a $8 million gate. How much money, according to how much would you think Devin will walk away with?
So you're saying that based on
you did
so
the
400K pay-per-views for Devin versus
no. Listen,
versus 10.
No. Now you gave the projection on what they both made in their price. Now let's imagine that they actually fight.
Okay.
Based on what you're willing to offer them, right? Mm-hmm. We said, let's say you settled for 75-25. 75-25. But now let's give you the numbers. That we're going to assume that these are the numbers that take place. That it does 400,000 pay-per-views. And you didn't want to bring in the gate so if you don't want to bring in the gate, you don't want to bring in the gate. So 400, because if 400,000, say it does 400,000 pay-per-views, how much money do you project Devin Haney making?
Is there any guarantees?
You got to negotiate. You got to give him a guarantee that you think you would be willing to give him based on a projection of 400,000 pay-per-views.
Who am I representing?
You're representing Gervonta Davis.
Okay, got it. Okay, I got you. 2 minutes.
I like it.
Be back.
See, Nonito, where you at, man?
Hey,
see, your
I'm right here, man.
Job, don't you?
That's the thing. That's the thing about it is like, she tells me, no, that's not right. It's not fair. Because for me, based on
our negotiation, what they would make each.
Wait, what?
So we're talking about like we negotiated it as clear as day, and then you're telling me like, okay, so but only 400,000 showed up on pay-per-view?
400,000 because you got to do a projection, right? There, look, because let me tell you the thought behind it, just so make sense for you. Devin Haney does not has the same fan base as Gervonta Davis does. He doesn't have a bunch of Mexican teenage girls going to ask their daddy if they can buy the fight. Okay, so that's a different fan base that Ryan Garcia has, and I know this because you can see how well Latino YouTube channels are doing. When Ryan Garcia fights, when Canelo Alvarez fights, you see these guys. These guys that have a different fan base on their YouTube channels, how much more active their channel gets. A lot of these guys, a lot of the people that are going to buy a fight for Ryan Garcia don't care anything about Devin Haney. That's why they keep doing the black Mexican rivalry, because you get the black fan base and you get the Mexican fan base. So now we're going to take a significant portion of the Mexican casual fan out of it. Right? And we're going to take the black casual fan that gets drawn in by the conversation. We're going to take them out of it and say now that Gervonta Davis does around 300,000 pay-per-views by himself, we'll slap another 100,000 on it because it's Devin Haney for Undisputed. So I'm just giving him an extra 100,000 because he did 150,000 against Vasily Lomachenko, which I think is quite generous. If I had to guess what that fight would really do on pay-per-view, I'm a lot closer to 325,000, something like that. But
okay.
Nowhere
so
near
based on my calculations, if we were negotiating on 75-25 with Tank having 100,000 pay-per-view threshold and Devin having 200,000 based on the lack of numbers from before, Tank would actually come up 16.875. So 16,875,000 on 100,000 threshold. And Devin would have 3,750,000 in addition to if there are any guaranteed on the purse.
Which is a pay cut for Devin Haney, which is what I thought. Which is exactly what Leonard Ellerbe said. Leonard Ellerbe said the biggest hurdle to this fight is that Gervonta's not taking a pay cut for Devin. And Devin, if he's getting what they're saying he's getting, which is $4 million a fight, he's going to actually make less money fighting Gervonta Davis than he would be getting from fighting guys like Shakur Stevenson and them that are operating off an ESPN budget. That's what I'm saying. That's what Leonard Ellerbe said. And if you go through the numbers with reasonable projections, that's what you're left with. If they sell 400,000 pay-per-views, Devin Haney's going to walk away with 3.3 million, which is less than he's getting off of DAZN's budget and off of ESPN's budget. And Gervonta's going to walk away with 16 million, which is slightly more than what he's getting now fighting guys like what's his name?
Hector Garcia.
Hector Garcia and those guys. Because that's the balance that you have with Nonito saying, I want those belts. Well, okay, you want those belts, but is Devin going to be willing to fight for 3.3 million?
Correct.
And what if, let me add just something else to it. What if Tank don't like him? What if Tank don't like him? And he's doing like what is the phrase that we used? A contract of adhesion, which is a take it or leave it type of situation. And he says 80-10. What if you don't like him because you say some things like, hey man, you don't pay your coach, you're out there stealing from you, all of that stuff, and you stick with 80-10, 80-20. What about 80-20? 80-20,
No, I started at 80-20 though too. So that's what I'm saying. Like if I was Tank, like I would start at 820 because I'd be willing to settle for 75. Like you don't negotiate on what you're willing to settle for. You negotiate way higher. Like if I want to be a mass, then 90-10.
Yeah, I understand that. And
most of these, like Hector Garcia, like you're looking at 90-10, 95-5, if that's even like, if even pay-per-view split is even on the table for someone like Hector Garcia. And at that point, then someone like Tank he's just eating Kobe and Wagyu beef every freaking meal that he can. Because here's the thing, guys, like when you talk about like, you're talking about like A-level fight, like let's talk about like Bud versus Crawford, Bud versus Errol Spence, right? Like you're looking at people are trying to come to the negotiating table being equals, right? Or somewhat of an offset, maybe 55-45, maybe 60-40, but no one really wants to take anything more or less of that, right, to come to the negotiation table. So when you put that into play against, okay, well, Tank can make X amount of millions and millions and millions of dollars and not have to share that with someone with Hector Garcia, who he's coming in as an opponent. So we see this a lot of the times because, okay, well, does he really need to fight that guy? It's like, well, freaking why not? He's taking 95% of the pie and paying a guy who would never even make. A lot of these guys, I think people get confused because a lot of these guys only make $500,000. To see $1 million fight is something that a lot of fighters dream about, and they dream about it because they're not there yet. So when they fight Tank and they're like, "Hey, we'll give you 800," they're freaking jumping for joy, and they don't even really care too much about the pay-per-view because they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about the guaranteed money, and so they'll give up. They'll say, "Okay, well, can I get 5%? Can I get 2%? Whatever." But they're really not going to fight you on it because 800,000 is not something that you ever saw in your paycheck anyway. That's a better bet for the ASAP.
Which is why all these rumors that people keep throwing around to me, based off the numbers that we're going through, some of these things that these people say don't make sense. Like, oh, I heard Hector Garcia got 50-50 on the pay-per-view. Why wouldn't Tank give Devin 50-50 if he gives it to Hector Garcia?
Hector Garcia did not get 50-50 stock.
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm telling you. That's literally what people say. But let me continue this on one more step, because this is wonderful. I'm having a blast. So, Nonito, you ready for your question, Nonito?
I'm going to go to the restroom.
So, Nonito, without doing the math, you are Gervonta Davis. And Nonito is saying, and Rachel is saying, $16 million is what you should make for fighting Devin Haney, based on what you've accomplished. But Devin will only fight you for 50-50. So 50-50 means that you have to give up. What's the difference between 3 and 16? To get to 10, that's 7 and 6. You have to pay him $7 million to fight him. Are you giving up $7 million for all of those? Are those 4 belts worth $7 million to you?
Man.
Don't answer the question, Nonito, because you know damn well you got to go like, oh, I don't, damn, 7 million? Shit.
Yeah, you got to think about all that stuff is because I'm very simple, though. That's why I have her to back me up, because she knows I'll fight. She knows I'll fight. That's just how I am. I want to be the best out there. I want to take all the belts, and everybody that comes after that, they're going to have to fight through me. You know what I mean? That's just how I am.
But you literally got to pay. You literally have to pay Devin Haney $7 million extra to get it to whoop his ass. Are you going to pay him?
But at the same time, you know what, Martin? Like, I've always been grateful with my life, and that's something that know about me.
Yes,
is
sir.
$1 million I'm happy with. $2 million I'm really grateful. $10 million, man, I am ecstatic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy with life that I have.
Let me try to convince you as your manager. Okay, Nonito, but what's the name of your daughter? What's your daughter? You have a daughter, right?
I know. It's 2 boys. I got 2 boys. Jarrell.
Yeah. Okay. That means you got to take $3 million out of the bank account of your son, and another $3 million out of the trust fund from your other son, and give it to Devin's kids. Are you going to do that to get a fight?
I love life, man. I share with people, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is how I am. Like, if the only person that really can convince me is this one right here. She's like, nope, you ain't fighting. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I got you.
Nonito, I would come and fight you if you did that.
Hey, man, I've always been good with people, man. I'm like, listen, man, if I can make some money, I want people to make money. I've always been that type of person, man. If I can experience something, I want people to experience. Like, listen, if I can make a big wish, I'll make every single person a billionaire, because they'll find out that what life truly
Yes,
is
sir.
about the most important thing. It's not money. Yes, money is necessity and all that stuff, but when you get to a point where money is you have it and you have abundance, life is so much more greater to the extent that you have people
Got it now.
that
I get
you know what I'm saying, like, yeah.
See, Martin,
Yeah.
what I have to deal with. Do you see this?
See, but that's how I am though.
Fucking math.
My wife,
And
no joke. My wife is the same way. It took years. I used to be like, my wife would be like, I was like, I gotta make more money. 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 And then my wife would be like, no, we make plenty money. We just need to learn how to spend less money. We need to do this. I was like, yeah, we can do all of that, but I also need more money. You know what I'm saying? I need more money. I need more money. But then gradually over time, she started catching like, you know what? More money is really, really nice. Because, but at the level of money that you've made in your career, I understand that without a doubt. But in this scenario, it illustrates this point. Oh, my bad. Let me get these super chats. And then, because this has been such a great conversation, man. Really great conversation. Hold on one second. John Boy in the building said, I'm driving, but I'm from the mud, but I have a very decent businessman, very fair but firm. Haney has done nothing but badmouth me. 95.5 is that's it. You claim legacy matters. Haney claims money means nothing. If money don't mean nothing, 95.5. And I'm telling you, that's how certain, like, you're very fair, Rachel. Like, you're fair. You're like, okay, but I'd be willing to settle for this because you care what he wants. Some people could turn around like, dude, seriously, it's 95.5, brother.
I don't like being in like the position where, like, we talk about like housing, when you put a bid on a house and they're just like decline offer and there's no counter, right? Like, I want to be able to be in a constant conversation. And I know if you ask for the moon and it's not of this earth, like, you're just asking for them to say no, and like, we're just going to continue walking. So I like to have constant conversation. I like to be rational about things. I like to understand, like, from the first negotiation, like I said, like 80-20, then like we can see where your mindset's at. Like, what are you asking for? What's really important to you? Like, are you saying, like, your dad has to be able to come into the country, for example, like Australia? Are you saying that you want 100 ringside tickets that are going to cost $5,000 a piece? Are you saying that you need like 5 suites and 20 plus rooms and all these other things, your entourage and XYZ? Like, those all come into account. They're small, but what really matters to you? If it doesn't matter to you, or if you're saying that it's just money counting, then I know who I'm playing with. But if I haven't played with you before, I have to feel you out, and I'm not going to shut you out completely by going, oh, well, I just want 100% of the fucking pay-per-view or 95.5. Like, why are we at the negotiation table?
I could find a scenario where you would do that.
In
I
food?
know you and I both know exactly who you would do that to. You would drink, and that, you know what I mean? If you don't like somebody.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
If I don't like you, your life is going to be a living fucking hell. You would wonder, like, you would sleep with one eye open and wondering when the hell I'm going to pop up. That's literally what it is.
You'd be like, oh, okay, well, okay, you've earned this. Yeah, you've earned this fight. We'll fight you. And you're going to have no guarantee. And you're going to get 5% of the pay-per-view. And you can cover all that shit out of your own pocket. I'll advance it to you, but I want 10% back on my advance. So there's just different ways if you don't have a good relationship with somebody and you're disrespecting people on a consistent basis, people can take that into consideration. And that,
correct.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, let me get these real quick. Yeah. Daryl J said, great show. Thank you. For the first time, I agree, because God dog, we got somebody in here that really knows boxing. Rachel Donaire is just, that's such a beautiful, that's just such a beautiful way to see the dynamic that goes on between a fighter whose job it is to whoop your ass and somebody whose job is to, when you go in the back room and when you go back and, you celebrate back there, I'm going to walk up with my bag and say, where's my money? You know,
Exactly.
and then you got Brock Howard said, "Tardy ties for being late." Thank you, Brock Howard, for the $10 holler, brother. Thank you so much for your support. It's gigantic today. Thank you, guys. And then let me make sure I got to get to these. I got to get to them because thank you guys so much. Mr. 21 EDD said, "Man, oh man, this is a great show, Martin. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you." And again, I appreciate you guys call me Martin. I appreciate that. Thank you. John Bowie in the building said, "Give the rabbit the gun." Haney said, "Loma fighting for nothing if he wants these belts." That's exactly what he said. He said, "I'm the man. You must make concessions to me." But at the end of the day, bro, that's really is what you're going through, man. And no, are those belts worth $6 million? No, they're not. So, and when you really are talking about somebody that, and then you're talking about somebody that really has a chance to beat you too. You know what I mean? So there's risk that Gervonta's taken against Devin Haney, and a risk that he's taken against Shakur Stevenson, where, if you go into that fight, I know, just like with Gervonta, if you listen to everybody in Nonito's, everybody in Gervonta's camp, they're like, "Man, we ain't worried about Devin Haney. We're gonna knock him out." You'll see how good a boxer Gervonta is when he fights Shakur, because you guys don't see how good a boxer he is. Now, my opinion, if you guys go back and you look at that fight that took place with what's that guy's name? Nonito, Jose Pedraza. Dude, Jose Pedraza is a very good boxer, boxer, and Tank outboxed him, and he found a way to work it out. But anyway, man, that's just where I am, man. Thanks, man. Thank y'all very much, Nonito and Rachel. I appreciate it, man.
Always, brother. Always, man. It was always good.
I
It was
love
always good
these-
talking to you, man.
I love these exercises. Like I literally, I've been trying to get people to understand thresholds and what they can make or what they can't make. Like, you get a lower guarantee, you can lower the threshold. Like a $5 million guarantee with, let's just say, a 500,000 threshold versus a 2.5 guarantee with a 250,000 threshold. Like, you make more money in the long run, but you have to know your numbers. You literally have to know your numbers to be able to bet on yourself. And I don't feel like a lot of fighters know these games. They don't understand it, because when you do get the Muhammad Ali Act, literally 2 or 3 hours before your fight, they're showing you a paper with, pay-per-view amounts that says to be announced and gate to be announced. And the majority of fighters don't follow up because of the Muhammad Ali Act. They don't follow it up to say, okay, well, I know it was to be announced. I need the announced. I need it written. I need it, this is my legal right to have what you made, not just what I signed down for 3 hours before the fight that says, oh, you gave me a BS breakdown. Muhammad Ali Act is honestly a bullshit breakdown. I'll tell you that. Because the only thing that's on there really is, the only thing that's guaranteed is the sponsorship.
The thing is, if they do their job, the promoters and stuff like that, then it's a great information. But a lot of it is well, there's no information. For a lot of people, there is no information for them to go about and take advantage of. They're the one that's taking advantage of, because they don't know any information, because they're like, oh, well, to be announced this and this and this and that. There's no information.
Don't follow it up.
Yeah.
So it's a hard negotiation table if you're not really trying to follow up on what the exact numbers were, what you pulled in. So then when you negotiate, you're like, hey, I know I pulled this. I know you guys are making this over the this is your profit, and you're not paying me fairly. A lot of boxers don't take the time to get those numbers. So when it comes to someone like Bud, unfortunately, we're talking about numbers that he's thinking of what it is, but he doesn't have it solidified. So, we're all in the guessing game of what he was really quote unquote worth when it comes to gate and when it comes to pay-per-view. That's the problem. If you let it slip then, you're going to be chasing your tail trying to freaking get those paperwork later.
Yeah, and that shit is, when you were thinking about that, I was just thinking about my weakness relative to Rachel, because there is amount of mental God, what do you call it? Mental stamina necessary to do that. it gets tough. Like it really, people that just go back and forth, 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 stall you out, wait, take time. Those are all real negotiation tactics that lead to people getting worse deals than they would. Because somebody can just frustrate you and get you to the point where you just feel like, okay, man, just give me the money so I can be done with it. It's really
No, let me just put it this way, Martin. Like I was in, like I'm in the locker rooms of a lot of fighters. I don't do anything. I don't say anything. But like I when I do need to speak up, I do. And I've seen it way too many times where a paper is literally folded into 16ths where you're supposed to sign it. And it doesn't show you what the unfolded paper is. And I'm that bitch that comes in and says, hey, like, what is he signing? Hold on, let me unfold this. And then right there, now that's where they show you like what they're supposed to be making or whatever. But they come in with a 16th paper, like, here, this is your block you're supposed to sign, but you're not supposed to unfold the 16th paper.
Hold on, 1. That's half. That's 4. 8.
Keep going.
They come to you with this?
Yep.
Hold on, man. Somebody came.
Not to our locker room.
Hold on. Of all the things I've ever heard in boxing about boxing and crookedness in boxing, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Nothing but the truth.
Yep.
You have seen somebody gave you a piece of paper, gave somebody, I don't care who it was, a piece of paper like this and said, sign it?
Yep. Swear to you, I swear my kids.
Oh, God, I gotta go into a new business. Now I see why I get death threats. Because you gotta be kidding me. You're telling me somebody would literally fold pieces of paper up into 16th and say, this is where you're supposed to sign.
Correct. And it has the boxer's name and their signature line. That's all they see.
In this right here. That's your name here. Sign this.
Yep.
Like, I'm sorry. You mean like literally like this? Like.
Martin's really going to do an exercise.
Like this. Like, that's your name here. You sign here.
Correct. And most of the boxers, like when I unfolded that, there was at least 8 boxers that were already signed onto the same paper. So I'm just thinking that most of these boxers, listen, you're coming in 3 to 2 hours before the fight. Most of these guys already have their wraps put on. They don't give a shit about what's happening. They need to focus on the guy that's going to be in front of them in 2 hours and warm up. So they just sign whatever. But I'm that person I'm like, nah, what's this? And I'll unfold it right in front of them. Like it's, it hasn't happened to Nonito because they know better. But again, like other boxers that I've been in the locker room with,
And then let's just not even think about the fact that there's going to be things on that piece of, I don't even know what that piece of paper is, but there's also the simple fact that you have to sign this right before you're about to go in.
Correct.
So basically you don't even have any choice. You're in a situation where you don't have the time to look at it. That is coercive as hell.
Martin, Martin, that's your concern is the Muhammad Ali Act. How many? Okay, before I met Nonito, babe, how many times, or even when I met you until I actually took over, how many times did you sign a fight contract the week of the fight?
Every fight, every fight, I've always signed either the day before or the week of the fight. Every contract.
Wow.
Before her.
Wow.
And I've known several world champions that still is doing the same thing.
No, there was a world champion that I was advising, and he was going into a big fight. And I told him, I was like, ask for the contract. And they're like, oh, well, you don't need to. Like, our lawyers got you. Of course, the boxer was very meek and humble, great background, but couldn't fight against them. And he allowed it to go. And I said, listen, this is a big mistake. He showed up to the week of the fight. They said his fight was one amount. They cut it down by 50. In addition to, if he lost the fight, it's abided by the prior contract. And his minimum after he lost that world champion fight was supposed to go all the way back down to 5,000. His next fight was to be at 25,000 from being a world champion.
I think I know who that is.
And there was nothing he could do.
And you know what I saw? And I maintain this. I saw this. I don't care what anybody says. That was not a term sheet. That was a fully executable agreement that would have had a fighter agreeing to fight somebody signed to their company with no promise of a fight whatsoever. What? Hold on, man. What? Oh, no. From who? Oh, I wonder if that's my guy, man. Hey, no, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, dog. I mean, I see this going on like in just regular day-to-day business. That's where you get like, you really need somebody to do that job for you. You can't do that. You can't do that job yourself. You cannot do that job yourself. No. Just like you cannot train for a fight. You have to have somebody that you trust. So when people talk about, dang, Rachel, you destroyed Bud's logic, fan logic. Thank you. And my guy, hey, bad news. I always think bad news bears when I see this. He said, for now, we got to stop the conversation. This is too much knowledge. I mean, hey, look, it's fun for me because what Rachel I just did is like a little mini case study. And I'm telling you, man, this is like, business is business. Business is business. People say, oh, you don't understand the business of boxing. No, this is business too. If people could get away with doing this shit, they would do it. If I could go to State Farm Insurance and get them to agree to give me $500 million worth of business a year, if they just sign this 1/8 of a piece of paper, you don't think I'd do it? But as soon as they got it, they'd be, first of all, But you know what they have? They got their standard agreement. They got their standard agreement written. So they're the A side. I'm not looking at your contract. What do you mean? Here's mine. Don't send me shit. So like if I'm cussing here. If I'm Gervonta Davis, man, Devin Haney ain't sending me shit. You're not sending me nothing. You can send me your request. Here's my contract that my lawyers wrote. You know what I'm saying? That I already have vetted, and you need to vet all of those terms. Because that is when people say, oh, you can't make the offer, right? That's not true. Anybody can make an offer. Anybody can make an offer. But what you have to be able to, what you can say is, but at the end of the day, when we document it, we're going to use my form to formalize it. Because you can have an initial conversation. Hey, Manager Marty, I see you because more than likely I'm about to drop off. I'm about to jump off. I'll let you go. I'll let you go. Hey, here you go, Manager Marty. I didn't really plan on staying too much longer. You got any time? You got more time?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Here you go. Yeah, there you go, Manager Marty. I ain't got no problem with you. I ain't gonna turn you down, brother. Ray Davis said, phenomenal Chad, King and Queen, Nonito, a Donaire, salute. Yeah, that's also a very cold name, Donaire. And my guy, Ali Voso said, this is baffling. Yeah, man, that's what, dude, I'm telling you, I've got a really good friend that, matter of fact, was my mentor in law school that works for this big firm in New York called Waddell and Lipton. It's like the most profitable law firm in the world. They make, God, dog, I think her hourly rate was somewhere around $2,000 an hour. Like dumb money. And so she represented, I can't tell you who she represented, but she represented a very, very big name fighter, like one of the biggest name fighters in the history of boxing, and was trying to get that fighter out of a contract with a big name promoter. And what happened? They just jumped off. And what they said was, they say they were gone, accidentally jump off? You jumped off. I don't think I kicked you off. But man, the way that they talked about the contracts in boxing was like, they were like, it's ridiculous. Like unbelievably bad. what goes on in boxing. I don't know. I'm waiting for no. Hey, Rachel, you guys leave on purpose? Oh, there they are. I felt lonely all of a sudden.
Sorry.
Real quick, Sosa said 3.5 to 6 million. Take it or leave it if you want the fight. Man, I'm not giving Devin no $6 million to fight me if I'm Gervonta. No. Matter of fact, that is some. Now that you gave another idea, that's something else somebody wants to be a jerk they can do. They can aim all of that, but they can set a not to exceed limit.
They could.
Like, you know what I mean? You set a not.
Mm-hmm.
You do all that talking, but set a not to exceed. You can get da percentage, all of that. Not just like you got that. Just like you got that
Threshold.
What do you call it?
Threshold.
Yeah. Once you got that, you can set a not to exceed limit on the amount of money you getting. Period. We'll do all that not to exceed $5 million. As in, I don't care if we do $5 billion. I'm not going to start paying you until we've sold 100,000 pay-per-views. And I don't care what the calculation is. I'm not paying you more than $5 million for this fight. I don't give a shit if we sell $1 billion. Because it's just an agreement, right? It's just an agreement. Right. And whatever you agree to with them, they're going to enforce it as long as the language is clear.
Correct.
And my guy Thomas Hill said, Martin, Rise wants Rachel and Onito take on Loma Haney. Oh, yeah. What's your take on Lomachenko Haney? The fight, Lomachenko Haney, Nonito and Rachel.
Well, for me, I think Haney can jab Loma and move around him. You know, he just gotta not stop moving. But if Loma can get in, you know, in a distance, because we've seen Haney before cover up when he fought JoJo, you know what I mean? Because Loma's southpaw, so it'll be easier for him to get in there. But I think that if Haney just jab around him, I think he can beat him that way. Because Loma, it's different if you slip a punch compared to blocking the punch. Now, if you're blocking the punch, Haney can push himself off of the person's block. Now, if he slipped a punch, it's easier to slip and counter and get hit with, you know. And so I think that Haney can beat him that way if he is disciplined enough to go through the 12 rounds.
Yeah, and I wasn't really impressed with Loma the last fight. Like, I know that they had a bunch of excuses as to why Loma looked the way that he did, but I didn't think that it should have been the way that he did with was it Jermaine, right?
Jermaine's a good fighter.
Yeah, but I didn't think, like, I mean, I know we all have our dreams and we keep a lot of the fighters within that space, and they're not supposed to, you know, derail of what their capacities are. I feel like that fight was a tell for me, like, where have you been? Where's your placement now? Like, and how do you play in this game? And in all honesty, like, Devin fighting Lomachenko is a gift to Lomachenko at this point.
But I think that Haney is not. He don't care whether he has to hold if or when Loma gets in there. He's gonna hold. He's gonna grab, and then he's gonna get out. You know, and I think that that's how he's gonna be when it comes down to the fight. Is he's gonna throw the jab, he's gonna move around, and Haney gets in there. He's gonna grab. Loma's gonna get in there. He's gonna grab him. He's gonna hold him, tie him up, and then get his distance again.
Yeah, jab and grab.
Yep. I mean, you know, it's so easy. It's so easy to do that with Loma, because Loma has his hands up. He's a high guard fighter, you know. And I was teaching a lot of these guys out here in the Philippines how to fight a high guard fighter. And now, don't get me wrong, Loma has head movement and all that stuff as well, and shifting and all of that. But the jab in itself takes away a lot of that out, is because of the distance that Haney will be given himself when he's fighting Loma coming in.
And in a high guard is easier to come underneath, tie him up.
Yep.
Yeah, but see, that's a problem, man. That's why he's going to get $3 million for Gervonta, because people are not going to watch, you know what I mean? Like that shit is
Well,
boring. It's very effective, but
yeah, yeah. No,
that
I hear you.
that shit right there is going to be like, okay, yeah, but that's like, do you want anybody want to watch that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, but Tank is already setting it up in motion though by fighting a fight without a belt. And when they do make a lot of viewership and money into it, no matter how much belt Haney has, he will not have the last say.
Correct.
Pretty
It's like at the end of the
yeah.
day, this is like we keep saying, this is a business, and when it comes down to it, it's like the money has to show, and if the money isn't behind Devin, like it is what it is. Like there's no computing, especially if Tank can live or die without the belts. Honestly, if has no, like, if he's not putting a price tag on the belts, or if he's putting the price tag on the belts at a very low rate, and he's still bringing in the viewership, then who cares?
An example, for this thing, they're fighting on PBC because that's what Tank is, in terms of agreeing to who will promote the fight. It ain't Golden Boy. Golden Boy has to suck it up and work with PBC. And that's gonna be the same way, when they fight with Haney. Top Rank ain't gonna call it. They're gonna go where the money is.
Yeah, it is.
That's if they want to come to the table.
Yeah, exactly. That is if they want to come into the table.
I mean, they'll put everyone in front. I believe they'll put everyone in front of Devin on their roster before they even try to have a Tank Davis fight.
Let me read these real quick and get that. Hey, Manager Marty, I did put the link in there for you. Zena360 said, amazing show. Rachel breakdown confirms what Coach Calvin said. If Tank makes more than 16 million now, or if Devin pushed for a bigger split, it would mean Tank would have to take a pay cut. And he said he's not taking a pay cut. Yeah, those guys got the numbers are right there for you to see. They're not going to, if Devin is saying he's making $5 million a fight, then either Gervonta's taking a pay cut or Devin's taking a pay cut, and Gervonta's not taking a pay cut. So I would advise Devin Haney to get a knockout of Vasily Lomachenko. Put your foot on the gas and try to get him out of there, because I think that really changes. I think that changes the scenario. And Manager Marty, I see you, brother. I'm gonna put you on in just 1 second. And LaMarcus Robinson in the bill said, great inside info today. Thank you all. You know, the funny thing is, though, this is not even inside information, brother. LaMarcus Robinson. This is all publicly available. But the problem is you got to have the experience that Rachel and Nonito have, which
Rachel has. Nonito just fight.
but you're the customer. You're the customer. Everything revolves around you. And you're showing the dynamic, and you're showing the dynamic that takes place between somebody that's looking at your money and you that's earning the money, right? The person that earns the money and the person that counts the money and spends the money sometimes can be different people, which is when like a boxer says, no, I'm the boss. Yeah, you're the boss, but you got people with you. John Boy said, miss mine. My bad. Hold on. Let me back up. John Boy, I miss John Boy. The man, John Boy. Sorry, John Boy. John Boy, yes, sir. He said, if Nonito's heart, I like Nonito's heart of a fighter, but we need Rachel as a manager because she knows she's swimming with the sharks. Just my opinion. Absolutely.
100%. 100%. Because I'm not a good businessman when it comes down to it. I just want to fight. That's just how I am. I mean, when it comes down to other business and all that stuff, I've always looked at it as whatever I can help, the world in that sense. But for her, it's always been like business is business. There ain't no slacking and lacking. Business is business.
Yes, sir. Manager Marty, what's going on, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. Today on Friday, I'm around all of my boxing family for 9 and the and the Donaires. I feel like I'm home again. What's up, everybody?
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
Marty?
Hey, they brought me in the ghetto in Philadelphia, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to YSM Sports Media.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm all
Oh,
for it
yes.
though, man. I just feel home every time. So, that's where I grew up. I wasn't sure about this little girl over here though, because she's like, she's never been
Oh, shut
in
up.
that area. What?
I may do. No, the
You did. You
YSM
did.
and Marty was like, you want to go where? And I was like, over here. And they're like, you sure? And I was
Yeah,
like, yeah.
and this girl was like, "Do they have champagne?" I'm like, "No, they don't."
Yeah, yeah, but you know what? There's certain areas that me and YSM Sports Media know all too well and are very familiar with, and we just did not want you all to be a part of or be exposed to those areas. But where we were at was okay. It was an okay area, but anytime you all come to Philly, you already know this. Manager Marty and definitely YSM. We're not gonna
No,
just
we
let
appreciate you,
nothing
brother. We
happen.
appreciate you.
Yeah, we
Nah,
ain't gonna
y'all
let
look
nothing
out.
go down. Yeah, yeah, we ride, and people know us in the city, so they already know what time it is. If somebody act crazy, they know the repercussions on that. So we was good though. Everything was good. We had a good time, right, Rich?
Oh, we
Yep.
had a
We
great
had
time.
crabs at a bar. Never thought that would happen. But yeah,
No,
100.
it
Crabs
was
in
it
the
was it
bar.
was fun.
Yeah, there was crabs at a bar. They had like like when you have like bar food, they didn't just have nuts and stuff. They had
They had
crabs.
crabs,
I
but
ordered a
they ain't
whole
got no crab cracker though. So I gotta break that shit up with my fingers, man.
Hey, Fanon, I'm probably
Yes,
one of the
sir.
only guys that'll go to a bar just to hang out with my friends and won't even drink anything.
Oh yeah. You don't drink, Manager
No,
Marty?
no, sir. Mm-mm.
Yeah, yeah, man. Good for you, man. I used to spend my summers in Philly, man, when I was a kid, man. Yeah, I loved it.
Marty is too cool for cool. Or no, he's too cool for school. Like he literally like comes in like the mob boss, like trench coat
Oh
and
yeah,
drip. I'm
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. No, no.
glasses. I'm like, damn, like who we with right
Yeah,
now?
it's like you look at him, it's like you can't fuck with that motherfucker, man.
He looked like FOI is what he reminds me of. He- You know, you know what the FOI is, the Fruit of Islam? Fruit of Islam's like it's the security for the Nation of Islam. And those guys are very, very clean cut. They're very always suit and tied, always got glasses, really, but you know full well if you blink wrong, it's gonna be real problem.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not only am I the same way everywhere I go, just being a gentleman until somebody make me be gangster, but I'm like that in the business, and I love what Rachel was talking about. Being that person, who says, unfold that paper. I want to read the terms of that paper before my fighter signs it. And Rachel knows this. I'm the same way. So, you need. I say it all the time for now, and Rachel and them know this. Good representation in this business is priceless. You need good representation, man.
Absolutely. For sure. For sure. Is there anything specifically you want to get off your chest, though? Any points that we made? We had a long conversation. Anything you want to add about the scenario with Gervonta and Devin? And also, I see the big name Philly fighter has opened his own promotional company. You got Inoue seems like I don't know if he's no longer being promoted by what's his name, man?
Cameron Duncan.
Cameron.
Duncan, or he opened it like underneath Cameron Duncan. But we see the big name Philly fighter out there making moves.
Yeah, well, I kind of came on when I told you to drop the link. I had just got on and I saw that you all were engaging, and I said, "Oh, Rachel and them's on." Okay, so I didn't hear what you all said prior to, but I kind of came on at the tail end of you folding the paper up 15 different times for 9.
Oh,
I
okay,
came
yeah,
on.
they said into 16ths. No, what the issue was is I really got to kind of roll though. Make sure you guys go subscribe to my guy Manager Marty. But brief summary of it is we laid out a scenario based on some numbers, or that we know, like we projected what Devin Haney's pay would be against Gervonta Davis based on some assumptions, and the assumptions were that in these two pay-per-views that are coming up, that Gervonta Davis we just stuck it on pay-per-view, but honestly, I would love at some point in time to understand how what percentage of the gates go to fighters, which is a different subject. But We used and said, okay, take these two scenarios. One scenario was that Devin Haney does about 150,000 pay-per-views against Vasily Lomachenko, which I think is a reasonable estimate, about 200,000. And the reason I say 150 because that's right along with what Terence Crawford did with Amir Khan and what Terence Crawford did with Sean Porter, right? I don't think it's going to be any bigger than that fight, but just give them around that range. But at the same time, then you say, okay, well, what is for the fight with Gervonta and Ryan? I use the number 800,000 because 800,000 is roughly what Canelo did with David Benavidez and what Deontay Wilder did with Tyson Fury 2. And that was the number that Steven Espinoza kind of threw out there saying that the 800,000 is the new million. And would we be happy if it doesn't do, would it be a failure if it doesn't do 1.2? No. So he used the number 800,000. So when you look at the 800,000 and then you look at the price points, which is like, I don't remember what it was, like $59.99 for Devin and $85.99 for Gervonta's fight. And then what percentage, based on those numbers, what percentage split, if you were Gervonta Davis, would you accept for the Devin Haney fight, considering Devin Haney is also the undisputed champion? So Rachel ran the calculation, and she said, well, I think I would start my negotiation with Devin Haney at 80-20. And I may be willing to settle at 75-25. So from there, with the 75-25 split of that Rachel said she would, if she was Al Heyman, that she would be willing to take. And the reason we know these are viable things is because of the person in the left hand of that, right there in that picture over there, which is Nonito Donaire. She's clearly knows what she's talking about, right? And you as well. So then we said, okay, well, what do you see? What does that mean in a practical sense for the fight between Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney? And you say, well, what pay-per-views would that do? I gave the number 400,000 for a pay-per-view between the two because that's the same demographic, right? You're having Black American fight fans that are by and large the fans of Gervonta Davis. Not that there aren't others that are as well. And then you have Devin Haney, who's a subset of that same fan base, versus Ryan Garcia, who has a Mexican American and a Mexican fan base, and then bringing in a lot of other casual fans because the battle between the two fan bases. They said, okay, that's 400,000. So if you take that 75-25, what does it look like Devin Haney would get? And then Rachel threw something in that I didn't appreciate before, which was the threshold that they would negotiate where Devin Haney doesn't even get paid anything until that fight makes 200,000 pay-per-views, where Gervonta starts getting his 75% at 100,000 pay-per-views. Devin gets his starting at 200,000 pay-per-views. Based on that calculation, I think Rachel came up with a number like 3.3 million. And if you look at the 3.3 million, if what Devin Haney and Bill Haney said is true about how much money he's making at Top Rank and what he made at DAZN, that's less money than he would be getting for fights right now in that scenario, which reflects to me the difference of somebody traditionally earning their fights through pay-per-view and ticket sales versus somebody that's on a budget for a network. That's the best summary of the conversation that I can have. So if you follow that, which I know you're more than smart enough to follow that, what are your thoughts on that?
That's a very, very reasonable offer. As soon as you was talking, right before you talked about the numbers, I was thinking that 25% will be extremely, extremely reasonable for Devin Haney in that equation because, Devin Haney, obviously, as we know, he's not a pay-per-view star. So it's not like, he does have the titles. You definitely can't, exclude that out of the equation. But 25%, especially with the threshold, being involved, that's very reasonable. That's very reasonable. And the great thing about it is that he does have the belts. So it does make it more appealing for promotion. for the fans to be able to buy into the fight. Like you talked about 400,000 pay-per-view buys are extremely reasonable as well, considering, like you said, Fernando, and I do agree that 150,000 buys on ESPN Plus, that's a really, really fair assessment with him fighting Lomachenko. Very fair assessment. So if you add the 150 to, let's say Tank's going to do 250. I'm just using that as an example. He's bringing 250,000. Tank's and then Devin's bringing 150. That's 400,000 pay-per-view buys. So all of those equations sound very, very reasonable to me. And guess what? If I was Bill Haney and Devin, I wouldn't turn it down, not one bit.
There you go. So that's kind of where we were. So there you go. These are boxing managers, not Fanon or Martin, that doesn't know what he's talking about. Like that. There's a good conversation, man, and it's neat and it's wrapped up. It's dollars, it's cents, and then we got the champ Nonito Donaire that you can see the struggle for Nonito, who's like, man, I just want to punch him in his mouth.
Yeah.
Right. So there you go. But look, I'm gonna roll up out of here. I've been under about 3.5 hours. Manager Marty, let him know how to get you, man, and show up to the chat earlier, man. We can do this again for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a lot going on today. It's tax season, man, so I'm very extremely busy around these times. But you all can, follow me at Manager Marty, the name of the channel. We will be doing a great live this evening, live and live in color on the channel at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, the Nonito and Rachel, if y'all have time, of course, y'all can always come over to the panel. If you have
They're
time.
in the Philippines. That might actually.
I know,
Okay.
and I'm glad to hear that you all are making good strides out there. They already told me before they were going to leave, so I knew already that they were not going to be here. But I look forward to seeing and hearing from you all again. Of course, Nonito and Rachel. Fanon, thank you for having me on your channel, brother.
Anytime, brother.
Sorry I caught the last end of this, but we look forward to some good fights coming up this year, and I can't wait, man.
Yes, sir. All right, Rachel, you got any parting words?
Thank you, of course, Fanon. That was a fun little exercise. Like I love, like the numbers and playing like what ifs and if this happened and what that happened. So, it's fun to put it in front of the viewers, especially at your channel, so we can educate. Like, you don't want to talk off of non-experience. And I know a lot of people down here that don't have the experience, but we're trying to educate. That's the whole point. And at the same end, I want to thank all of our fans at Beyond the Ring for the patience that they've given of us trying to figure out our damn schedule here in the Philippines. We will be dropping a lot more grassroots Philippines boxers, considering that we have access to what goes on over here and how they train their fights. And hopefully you guys will stay tuned. And Martin, you have our number if you ever need us. So you could always text us.
Yes, sir. Much luck to everybody, man.
I need for you to fly back, go to the Gervonta Davis fight so I can walk through with you. But
I know. Hey, and that's PBC. PBC's my home too. So they take good care of me and all of that stuff. Unfortunately we're not there. But if we was there, man, we were walking around like with the boss.
Like Conor McGregor.
Yeah, walking like Conor McGregor.
Is gonna get mad at me because the Rise podcast is gonna get mad at me, man, because I could be over there with Coach Calvin and them, man. Y'all are really good people, though, man. But all right, I gotta bounce up out of here.
Much love, brother. Appreciate you, man. Everybody.
Bye, guys. Thanks for all the support in the chats.
All right, see y'all Saturday morning. I'll be back tomorrow morning. You know how it is, man. We'll be back Saturday morning. Thank you guys for all your support in the channel and the super chats and the cash apps this Friday. And with that, I don't think I missed anybody, but y'all have a wonderful weekend. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.